Welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons, covering World of Warcraft Classic and its community. I am Bobby, also known as Blazin' Bob, and we are once again joined by Mel, aka Melarina. How you doing?
You act surprised every time you introduce me. You're like, once again, Mel's here. It's like she comes every week.
I'm just happy. The only person that comes every week is me.
That's true.
I've missed one show throughout the entirety of all of our shows, and it was the one where Yip and his brother took over while we were moving across, from Colorado back to Kansas City. So, but that's here nor there. We're also rejoined, friend of the show, NoHitJerome. Welcome.
Hi, I'm really glad to be here. Obviously, Warcraft Reloaded is huge, and it's always great to be part of this. So many legends have been on here. My favorite WoW person, Sal Daly's always on here, so obviously I have to pop in sometimes.
Awesome. We are happy to have you.
I'm not going to mention any cupcakes either. There will be no mention of cupcakes today.
I was also going to say AKA Mr. Cupcake, because...
Yep. Nobody... actually, fun fact, I hate cupcakes. I don't even know, I don't know why I'm bringing them up. I kind of don't like them.
But it was a Fruity Pebbles cupcake.
You're not wrong, and that is kind of amazing. But a Cinnamon Toast Crunch cupcake will be way better, so.
Ooh, yeah. Or Cocoa Puffs cupcake.
Oh, my God. They definitely make that, by the way. You can get them at Big Lots. I don't know if you know where that is, but not a sponsor of the show.
We've got Big Lots here.
Okay, well, you know what to do after the show.
Oh, well, I'm sure I'll have plenty of time to run there while I'm still in queue, so it'll work out.
Wait a minute, I didn't queue. This is a disaster. Give me a second.
And while he's doing that, first time joining the show, welcome, SubtleFW.
Hey, thanks for having me. We've been trying to set this up for a while. Glad we could do it.
Yes, me too. What does the FW stand for, by the way?
Frostwolf, it's the server I played on my entire time playing retail.
Okay.
Just another way to, connect with the old crew. I've had a few people recognize it and, remake some connections from back in the day. So
nice. Speaking of that, we actually had somebody write into the show who had raided with Corpse, one of the guys who came on to do the tank episode with us. They raided with Corpse back in original TBC. And Corpse has told me all of the stuff that he did. He was specifically in a 10-man raiding guild that only did 10-man content. And
that sounds way better, by the way. That's the guild I want to join.
Well, and he told me the guy wrote in and told me all of this stuff that Corpse had already told me, and there's no way he would have known. And so it was actually somebody heard him and it was like, that's got to be the same guy. It's crazy, though. It's crazy. All right. We're going to jump into this. Basically, the show today is going to be, we didn't have any new reviews, but we did have quite a few voicemails, a couple of them with questions. We're going to go through those first. Then we're going to hit what we've been doing lately in WoW. I'm sure most of the conversation will be sitting in queue. Then, there was no real raid progression, but we'll talk about, I've done a bunch of raiding, so we'll just talk about that and what we've been doing, because I'm sure these guys have been raiding too. Then we got a bunch of news. Then we're going to let Jerome go, and we're going to snuggle up and have a nice little interview with Subtle, because he's a first time guest, so we like to do that. And then that will be the show for today. All right, top of the show, I'd like to thank our tank Patreons, Thick Lizzie and Talon. Thank you so much. If anybody else wants to get involved in the Patreon, you can get the episodes earlier than Mondays. Sometimes we record segments on like a Tuesday or Wednesday. You can get those days early if you sign up, and you can just support us. It'd be cool of you to do so. We're getting ready to listen to our voicemails, but if anybody wants to send one in, the number is 816-866-1066. So call us while you're driving to traffic or at the grocery store or whatever.
While you're waiting in the queue.
Yeah. This has been these have been really fun so far. So here's the first one.
Hey, Mel and Bob, this is Garbini, the Moon King of Whitemane, self-proclaimed, of course. Want to say thanks for the podcast, loving the content. I think it's great. Even better than having Classic Go on there. Got to give the Moon King some love. Shout out to my homies in the Midnight Snack Guild and my 408 homies. Love the podcast, love the great work, and I love the additional attention that Moonkins have now. It's great to no longer be in the dumpster. Thanks, Blizz. Thanks, Rethatch.
Yeah, well,
every Moonkin.
Yeah, well, as a Druid player, how are you feeling about Moonkin as of late, Jerome?
It kind of feels a little bandwagony. I mean, I was playing a pretty bad class, and now all of a sudden everybody wants to play it. And, I don't like that. Now I'm like wanting to switch to something else. I'm like, I don't know if you guys are all going to play my class, maybe I'll just go to something else.
What's the bad class now? What's the bad class now?
I've been trying to think. That's a good question.
If we're talking PvE, you could definitely get some dirty looks if you played Sub-Rogue and Raid. Yeah, Sub-Rogue and Raid.
I hate to say it, Prot Warrior might be like right now in that conversation.
Oh, I don't know, man.
No way, dude. No way.
I mean, see,
I told everybody months ago Prot Warrior was going to be good, and betas, everything's shown us that Prot Warrior is good. Now they might not be running at a speed run raid, but if you're talking every other raid, like the Prot Warrior is freaking nutso good.
That's fair, but the speed runs set the tone for everyone else.
They do.
And that happened with Resto Druids. The speed runs didn't bring the Resto Druids. They brought the Dream State. And it really made it harder for me to get into groups. So it all starts at the top and it kind of trickles down.
Mm-hmm.
For Phase 1, though, a lot of speedrun guilds are looking at Prot Warriors.
Really?
But
they do the most damage. They have crazy mobility, can keep the pace going really quick.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm assuming I don't think I saw anybody do it in beta, but I'm assuming the revenge spec is viable in Nax completely, whereas later on it might not be, but early on, like, that thing is nuts. So I'm pretty excited.
I hate playing with Prot Warriors because they never have to stop and drink. So I would prefer to have a Prot Paladin tank that actually, they have to stop sometimes.
Yeah, I think with us Warriors, the worst part of us is like we're sitting there going, I have a full rage bar. Come on, full rage bar. Like, but
I'm drinking as fast as I can. I just can't. It doesn't work faster.
Well, have you gotten any of that new water? Because it feels like you're just drinking mana pots over and over now.
It's great, wonderful. But you can't drink walk, and Mel might not like. I was trying to drink walk so much, right? Did you not notice the lack of drink walking? That's the problem for me.
It was a little too sweaty for me. I didn't drink walk.
Yeah, they fixed it in TBC. You just press the button over and over again, and it was perfect. That was just my speed.
Yeah, but then I run out of water.
You're right. Yeah, I constantly ran out of water.
Yeah, no. I just made people wait.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. If I can hit the right button here. Nope. Failing. There we go.
Hey, this is Ball Hog from Grobulus. I'm a mage on Grobulus. We're a part of a guild called a Midwest Emo Mixtape. I just wanted to say I love your show. I listen to it every week, and this week you've given 2 episodes. I am ecstatic. Thank you for putting out the content that you're putting out. It stokes me out. I learn so much every week. I'm so tired of reading blue posts, and can't wait to play some Wrath. Cool. Thanks, Bob and Mel.
Us too, man. Us too.
Listen, guys, I'm still on this thing. I hear a lot of Bob and Mel. It's better to say Mel and Bob.
Mel and Bob.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue better. It just sounds better.
I feel like Bob and Mel rolls off the tongue really well, and
of course you do.
I think Mel's right about this.
Mel and Bob just doesn't sound as good, But honestly, I think the person mentioned last, oftentimes is the most
headline
important.
act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like the opener. I get
like
that.
a music show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
All
Okay.
right.
I'll go
I've
with
noticed that these calls, they're not really complaining enough. Like you listen to a sports podcast, they're usually complaining. So,
Oh, yeah.
Try to
we've
get
been
some,
waiting.
We are waiting
angry
for
ones.
somebody to call us angrily and tell us how wrong we are about something.
There
we've
hasn't
been
been enough controversial content, I think, is the problem, right?
Well,
we need to really up our
Not
controversy.
to spoil later in the podcast, but why don't you get like one of the software engineers that fighting with Blizzard about how their servers work? You could have them call and yell about how technology works or something.
Well, I am actually I used to be a systems and network engineer, and my guess for a while now
Don't spoil the future topic, but I mean you gotta save it for later.
Yeah, true. I will save it, but there is.
He's got it all.
Look at Jerome
There is
keeping
a
you on task
certain-
here.
There is a certain thing that's probably what's holding them back at their current state, and that
But
thing.
you won't know about it until later on.
Yep, stay tuned.
Hey, Mel and
Don't turn the
Bob.
channel.
I'm a big fan of the podcast. I've been listening to you guys now for, I actually don't remember exactly when it started, but I think it was a little bit partway in the Black Temple. Anyways, our guilds were pretty neck and neck on Sunwell, so you guys pulled ahead of us. But it was really fun while we were progressing in Sunwell to listen to you guys, and it really helped out for me. Even though I play tank. It was really helpful to listen to you guys and hear how you approach the different problems you raise. And as someone who's similar sweaty casual kind of guild like yours, I really appreciated how honest, like straightforward, blunt you guys were about all your difficulties and raids, and that's really like on top of your fantastic guests and your great detours and conversation you guys take. That's probably the raid breakdown is one of my favorite parts. It helps. Average players like me really boost ourselves up because you come at it not from the pro level, if you will. I hope that doesn't sound backhanded. But yeah, really looking forward to more podcasts as this goes forward because I drive a truck. I drive most of the day, and it's always awesome when I see a nice long episode get dropped.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
That pretty much happens all the time. Can we just go back for a second real fast before we break this one down? We didn't even mention the Midwest emo mixtape thing.
Oh, yes,
right?
that's a great
We just let that
name.
one kind of just roll off. Like, I feel like that, I don't know. Subtle, you're there on Groblios. Do you know this guild? Have you seen them around?
I haven't seen them around, but
We need more people in
it's
that
a great
guild, I feel
name.
like.
It's a great name.
It is.
For sure.
Yeah, he will
I'm
definitely
definitely
notice
gonna
now.
be looking out for them.
Right?
Yep.
Be like, oh, there he is.
Well, I know since Yip left the show, we've been definitely slacking on the raid progress segment that Yip used to do so well. And we've just felt like we don't do it justice. So we've been in talks with Yip. He doesn't want to come back to the full show, but he just might be willing to do the raid segment separate each week. So you guys might be getting that once again very soon. Reach out to him on Twitter at the Yip Show if you want to tell him how excited you are for that possibility. So one can only hope.
I'm not sure if this is the time to mention raid progress, but the last time that we talked, we were progressing, and then right afterwards, the guild disbanded. So yeah, you did win the guild progression. So great job, Bob and Mel. Yeah, you won the SSC war we were having. Remember?
Yeah, that was
my goal
hilarious.
exploded. It did not work out for us.
Yes.
My fault too. I didn't do a good job leading it. I really biffed it.
So for anybody who doesn't know, the first episode Jerome was on, everybody was progressing on SSC Pre-Nerf Lady Vash, and
What a nightmare. Oh my God.
and we actually were giving NoHitJerome strategy to tell his guild live on the show. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it
was
didn't
hilarious.
end up. It didn't work out. Good advice, but bad execution. Not your fault, really. It's my fault more than anyone.
Yeah, I think you should blame it on us, right? Be like,
No.
I was just relaying what they were telling me, and then everybody left. I'm just saying.
I really blame Season of Mastery because then I just kind of stopped playing TBC for a while. But
Mm,
Good deal. Good
Wow.
deal. Well, I did too. I actually got way behind in PvP and everything because I played so much hardcore. But it's kind of cool. Hardcore is what actually forced me to stream regularly. Like, I was always uncomfortable doing it, and then hardcore, I wanted it all to be, legit and on file. I know you didn't have to stream anymore, but I wanted proof that I had done it, and now
not
I
to
stream
spoil a
constant.
topic, but that's also why I stream AV.
Good call. Good call. Yeah, good call. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, don't do that offline. I wouldn't
You're there.
recommend it.
All right, next one.
Hey guys, this is Small Greg from Grobulus for the Alliance. I just wanted to say, Mel, I'm a Warlock. I life tap and I hide from my healers out of LOS. Just wanted to say that. Take care, guys.
You're
Bye.
dead to me.
Yeah, you're dead to me as well. It's over.
Why can't I heal this person? I've been healing a lot as of late on my Twink level 29 priest, and it is frustrating when you're like, where is this person?
No, I just give up on them.
Yeah, you just let
Honestly.
them
It's
die.
like, fine.
It's their fault.
You do you, right?
Yep.
Like, and then they'll be like, why didn't I get any heals? I'm like, why don't you identify where your healers are and maybe not run 30 feet in the other direction behind a
It's
pillar?
their fault.
It's just,
Yep.
yeah, like if you're not getting heals, you need to move. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I'm doing it with iPod, who's normally like one of the main healers that I arena with, and he's been a Ret Pally Twink, and I think he's getting back at me for me always
Yeah. 100%.
LOSing him, and he's like just running all over the place, and I'm trying to keep up, and I'm like, but I got a drink. Hold on. Okay, all right, I'll be right there. And then I half drink and come and save him, and it's been pretty fun.
Yeah, I think that having healer experience should make you better at understanding how to deal with healers. Because I played a warrior first, and I never had healed. So I would just go in instantly all the way to the back line, never think about the healers. They all hated
Oh,
me.
yeah,
Like,
you charge in too, right?
I would
So like
charge
you can't
in
even
really
catch
deep.
up, right? It's like you're running and you're just not going to get there in
Yeah.
time. They're like, how did I die?
yeah, and then I kill the
How
healer,
did
and
you
then I
die?
blame them. I'm like, why did you die? And they're
Oh,
like, I was forced into their back line by you charging in there. So,
Mm.
yeah. I was a real jerk to the. I mean, I didn't flame them, but I caused a lot of deaths, not knowing what I was doing.
Yeah, we always called that frying the salmon in PvP, where we would like bait the warrior to like come behind a pillar out of line of sight of his healers and then just give him.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
great.
God.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I did play. I PvP healed and 10-man healed in Cataclysm, on a priest for a short time, but that's all I'd ever really done. So
Well, Classic coming soon. Your golden years are upon you. Time.
we'll see if I make it that far. That's when they lost me for good, and I didn't come back until Classic. I was one of the
No.
true people that actually quit the game and was serious and
Yeah.
stayed quit. All right, this is the last one.
Hey guys, so when Wrath was originally announced in 2008, there was an interview where the devs explained the new achievement system, and they proposed that players could spend their achievement points on rare items. So obviously that never ended up happening, but about a month ago, there were some TCG items that were data mined for Classic that would serve as really compelling rewards for the achievement system. I think putting these big TCG items behind player engagement for all these different parts of the game that achievements touch would be a really easy win for Blizzard. I'm hoping that's what they do with the TCG items instead of just like throwing them in the shop for having some horrible battle pass, but I guess I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, as well as to sort of spread the word on how big this could be for Classic.
Fantastic idea, I think. Like, you get to a certain amount, like, of total achievements, and you get a reward. I think
I love
it
the
could be
idea
cool.
of just paying me gold. Just like you get to a certain amount, you just get some gold.
Or
Now you're
badges.
getting paid to do them.
That's what I did too. I'd never have gold, but yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, it takes us back to that time where everything you like earned in the game you got from just playing the game, not like buying something in a cash shop. And,
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, and I mean,
like, more of that, please.
we could. I mean, you know, we could let them go both ways. You could, like, I just.
don't let them buy the mount in the cash shop and get it from an achievement. No way. You got
I
it.
always feel that anything in the cash shop should be achievable in the game from a different
true.
way. I always,
that.
I hate that there's things that are just cash shop only. I think that
Yeah.
that
But then
sucks
how
for
are you
me.
going to shun those people? that
Well, it
get
would
the
help
things from the
those
cash
people
shop,
not
you know?
getting
Like,
shunned too.
Yeah, maybe it would encourage people to buy the thing. There's no stigma anymore.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
I mean, it
Like, I
could be a
earned
win-win.
this.
Yeah. But then you can see the receipt if you inspect to see if they bought it or not, because there's got to be some way to tell. You can see the price tag.
There's just like a little dollar sign hidden. It's like, where's Waldo?
You could just
You know?
well, what I said when they were bringing out the mount for the TBC Deluxe, I wanted like certain achievements in heroics or something, like you run a certain amount of heroics in a certain amount of time, and like then you get that same mount but a different color. Like,
I would love that. See, I think that mount had a lot of potential. It looked cool, but everyone just equated it with paying money, and they freaked out.
yeah,
But yeah, they could have made it where people were proud of having it.
I actually think I don't think it looked cool. I think the new glider looks cool, but I think
The glider's crazy.
it looks dumb in Azeroth, like when it's like a go-kart, I think.
Yeah.
But like as an actual flying mount, I thought it was actually a pretty cool
Yeah,
cool
it's not
looking
bad.
mount.
You know, if that was an engineering thing that somebody could make, everybody be riding around in the little go-karts in Azeroth. Like,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
lie.
I don't know. If a little
You're just trying to
go-kart,
find some way to hate it.
well, a go-kart would be kind of funny in Azeroth, but the wings is what makes it look dumb on the ground in like BGs and stuff like that. And I feel like they shouldn't have allowed that. Like, it should have just kept it flying. I know you can't use it somewhere else, but too bad. I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. But the little fishing guy made me want to buy it on my guy that I haven't worked up fishing on yet. Like, you get like a pet that comes out. You can buy stuff for fishing. Like, you can buy all the baubles and stuff like that.
That is nice, because I really hate having bubbles in my bag.
Me too. And when it first came out, you could sell to it, and they had to quickly hot fix it because like, why buy the mammoth if you've just got this guy you could pull out at any time and sell to?
Yeah, you could. There's the NPC you're talking about, right? My
Yep.
mom came in to get me coffee, and yeah. Somebody, I think it was Cadet, I was watching. He's like, "Wait a minute, you can sell to this," but then he tried to sell and it didn't work.
Yeah, they hot
must
fixed
have
it
worked at
fast.
some point.
Yeah.
Because that would have just been the best thing to have. Why would you get anything else?
I mean, I would have bought it for both accounts immediately if that was
Yes.
the case. It would have been way overpowered.
I feel like you're just making the case for Blizzard to bring it back. They're like, oh, wait, lots more people would have bought it?
Oh, no.
Okay, all
I
right,
mean,
let's
like,
do this.
I would still think it was absurd and dumb, but
They don't
I
give
would
a
be
fuck
behind if I
you think
didn't
it's
buy it.
absurd. They
don't
care if you
mind.
buy it.
Yeah, they really don't mind what you think.
They don't,
They want
your
that
opinion
money.
is irrelevant if you're buying it.
All right. Well, I mean, but Mel, what do you think about this? Like, leak those items to achievements rather than to the shop.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my business side says, what benefit does that give Blizzard?
None.
because they don't. Right. So should they put in the time and effort to make it a thing, right? But I do think that there will be slow times in Wrath, right? And there's going to be slow times where some people farm achievements and they get that, internal motivation of just like being a completionist. Others are going to be like, nah, what do I need this for? Right. And so adding some other type of reward, I think could continue to maintain the player base even during some of those slower times.
Yeah, I think that's the key right there, just keeping people interested during the slower times. And one thing I really want to see, so like in Ulduar, they have the Herald of the Titans achievement, where like for doing 10-man Ulduar wearing only gear from 10-man Ulduar, you get a special achievement for beating Algalon like that. I want to see that in like every raid tier.
That'd be awesome.
They could add new titles, add new mounts, whatever. But I really like that system, so I wish they would do that for every tier.
Well, and that's what I like about the achievement system, because it's a system that allows you to get, certain rewards. Like I got my albino Drake for more than 50 mounts, and like it's just a real cool thing that I did, and I didn't have to do. What I don't like about retail is there's stuff that keeps people engaged. It's stuff you have to do. And that makes it feel like a job rather than you completing something that you chose to do. Like I just love the achievement system for that. And I like it being something that's extra that you could do during slower periods and everything else. Like it's really, really cool.
Oh, yeah.
It just allows you a reason to log in and still have fun, right? Like I was telling Bobby, I was like, what are we going to do? We already leveled our ults. Like, why do you want to log in? Why are we waiting in this queue? And we've been having fun doing some of the achievements. I will say, one thing about achievements that really annoys me is that like certain things that I'm like, oh yeah, I've done that. And I click on it and there's like this one little thing on there. And I'm like, really? Like I haven't explored this one little well. I think one of them was like a well. I'm like, come on, guys. But
they got really granular with it. Like there's so many specific little things. I really don't want to go back and do like Lore Master. It just seems like I don't want to go back and do all these quests that I've done already, but it didn't count because it's not cross account, like cross character. To me, I'd be so much more interested if everything was on one account, but it's just not. It's like you have to have one character, and most people boosted characters and they don't have that connection and they didn't do all the quests. So I don't know. I wish it was cross character.
Yeah, it still wouldn't help me on my two accounts, but I definitely wish it was account wide, because I'm going to do achievements with my rogue, but my warrior that I've played since vanilla has so many more achievements already done. But I didn't think about that when I was, and like my rogue's going to be my main, so the most opportunity to do the raiding achievements is there, and so it's just like,
Well, there's people like Esquire that have had a mage for 3 years, and sure, it makes perfect sense to do Lore Master. But if this is my 4th boosted character and I'm making a paladin, it's like I don't have a single quest done. I haven't done anything, so I have no mounts, I have no achievements, no titles.
Yeah,
listen, I've been playing the same character the whole time, and there's still a lot of stuff I don't have.
Well, Mel, you're actually real close to. I mean, you're just a few hundred quests from Lore Master, I'm sure. We did almost every quest in Azeroth in Classic on my warrior and your priest, and then we did every quest in TBC. Like almost every quest. There's like a handful we didn't do, but like. I mean, you're pretty damn close. So, although there's a shit ton in.
I really like questing.
Well, and it just gives you so much.
Does give you any mount or anything, or is it just the title?
I don't know what it gives you.
And it gives you a tabard too, I think.
Ooh. I think I've seen that. Yeah,
or something like that. It gives you a tabard that has like the exclamation point, like a quest giver on it. I think
it's a really cool tabard. Yeah,
is it the Lore Whacker? Lore Walker's tabard? I don't know what I just said. Don't worry about it.
Lore Whacker.
I didn't say that.
It's that. Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. It's like red and
maybe
that's it.
That's something I would definitely be down to have, though, is the tabard tab right next
Never
to our
mind. That's
mounts.
a totally different tabard, though.
That
Don't
would
worry
be
about the
great.
low ruckers. That's a totally different thing. That's a
I'm
Pandaren tabard.
no, yeah, it's literally, I think it's black with a yellow exclamation point in the middle, and I don't know if it's on the back too.
That's so cool. Like the quest icon. That's so cool.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's like the RuneScape quest cape, where that always was a big thing as a kid, doing all the quests. I wonder which game copied it from which game. I would bet WoW had it first, maybe.
I don't know.
They definitely had an arms race behind the scenes that we never saw. Like if you're just playing one of the two games.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Someone had to tell me, and I've already forgotten. I didn't even know if RuneScape came before or after WoW.
RuneScape was around 1990s, I think, to early 2000.
Yeah,
But
see, I don't remember.
and WoW was what, 2004?
2004, yeah. I don't know. Well,
They had those exclamation point quest things in Warcraft 3 though too.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Yeah, and the like founding Duratar campaign with like Rexar, that was like their intro to like creating WoW, I guess.
Yeah.
They started to kind of play around with some of the ideas that they used in WoW later.
I didn't even remember that. I haven't played
I
Warcraft.
wish I was
3
a
forever.
Warcraft 3 kid. I never played it. The box always looked so cool, though.
I've still got somewhere. It's in storage, I think, at the moment. But I've got the Warcraft 3 collector's edition
Yeah,
with the
that's
big
the
old
one I
thick
wanted.
book and everything.
Yes. Back when companies
yeah,
thought that was the way to go, was to make like the coolest box ever with like a book and like, you know.
I
all
wish
this
they'd
cool
still
stuff
go
in it.
that way. The books were
Yeah,
always
now they
so
just
cool.
they just give you a plastic sleeve, or they tell you to download it, I guess.
Yeah, it's all digital rewards now, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
those old ones were just really neat.
Way cooler.
All right, well, what's everybody been doing in WoW lately? This could be opening a bag of worms because
Oh my god, I've been loving the queue right now. I'm only 10 minutes left. Feeling great. So usually I get into the queue and then I forget about it and then I end up logged out again. Then I get back in the queue again. And that's most of my night. But then occasionally I do get to go on the game and I go to like an AV or something. And I kind of feel stressed out the whole time because I'm going to get reported. Because the only thing I do all the time is death grip people into our starting base. You know, like the van, whatever, you know, the guy standing there.
Mhm.
And that's like pretty bad because like the auto systems were going to think I AFK the whole time. So I don't know, you know, it's a lot of stress, but I'm happy. You know, life is good.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah, well, what server are you on?
I'm on Fairlina, Benediction, Sky Fury, and all of them have massive queues. None of them is like the safe one that you could just go on to have fun. They all have like 1 hour plus queues all the time.
What sucks is you can't queue for different servers and just, you know, get into one of them and then stay in another
See,
queue.
that's a different discussion for later, but that would be fixing most of the problems if you could queue for 2 servers, right?
That
And
would just like make the queues even longer, though, right? If everyone's
would.
queuing for
Right.
multiple,
Right,
It
never
would make it
mind.
longer.
Okay, just
you,
forget
you'd
what I
see
said.
like
Don't
50K queues.
worry about it. Forget about it.
God.
The one
I
thing
meant
that
like
is
playing
cool.
on one server and then queuing for another.
Well, the one thing that is cool though
No,
is
you made your choice. You have to live with it.
well, just if anybody's in either the Wrath beta or the Shadowlands beta, those are completely separate clients. So if you are waiting in queue, you can go play on those and just mess around, you know, give you something to do if, you know, if you are so inclined. So that is something you can do if you ever, you know, need something, but not everybody's in those the beta and the Shadowlands or the Dragonflight Alpha. So.
If you're one of the 100 people in either of those betas, definitely. They didn't invite very many people. I don't know what they were doing.
Well, the
Like,
Wrath
very
beta's
limited.
got quite a bit of people in it now. It just was slow rolling them out, right?
Really slow rolling.
Yeah, and then I've been in the alpha for Dragonflight for a while, like even
See,
before I
that
was
one
in the other
bothers
one.
me because I really want to be in that one, and they won't give me that one.
Oh, I'm sorry,
But
I haven't
I
even
have
played it
beta.
yet.
I just want to do
Yeah,
the
I have
dragon
beta and I
flying.
haven't played it.
God, well, what
It's
are you doing?
alpha.
Go play.
Yeah, it's not like the
No, mine says
Dragonflight's
beta.
alpha. Oh, did it switch to beta?
It
coming
just
out
like
in like
a
2
few
months.
days
right
ago,
now.
I think.
And you're both not playing it? Oh my gosh. Come on.
Well,
you can
it's
do barrel
not-
rolls, right?
It's not our fault. Like, we're like basically friends and family, so we get every Blizzard beta alpha
Okay.
and stuff.
But you could be doing barrel rolls and like doing little
I'm gonna
dragon
try it
races and stuff.
sometime, but I mean, pre-patch. There's just so much to do.
Okay.
If I get
barrel
stuck
rolls?
in, if I don't wake up early enough, I will try it this next week because I'll be stuck
Okay.
in queue. So I've got it installed. I just haven't tried it yet.
And Mel will be out of town, so he probably won't wake up early enough.
Okay, good. Yeah.
All
That's
right.
the week.
So what have you been doing?
Been doing stuff on the Prop Alley, raiding, doing lots of solos. Did the Onyxia solo, did the Adamant solo for the Fiery Warhorse, did Moreau's solo, Maiden of Virtue solo, just solo and everything. Raptor Boss solo, Tiger Boss solo, of course. But I got my mount finally, so I don't have to do Tiger anymore.
Damn, you
Unless I
already
want to
got
sell
it.
it to people.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, I ran it 90 times to get it. So.
Okay. Someone told me that it's
He's like, already? I don't know about that.
It's been almost literally a year since I started farming it. Yeah.
someone told me that they
Oh my god. Okay.
that they with Wrath and pre-patch they upped the
I think they changed, and like a lot of people are talking about the Rivendare mounts, but I think the Tiger is still terrible to get.
I think it's still 1%. Yeah. But
Yeah.
the Rivendare mount got bumped up to 1% from like
Yeah.
0.02 to 0.04%.
Yeah.
There wasn't perfect information on exactly what the drop rate was, just like
but it
some
was silly.
blue post from a long time ago. And it was in that 0.02 to 0.04 range.
Wow. Wow. Oh, all right. Well, Mel, what have you been doing?
Not a lot. I mean, I guess just some achievements with Bob. What else have we been doing? Oh, we did that one boss that you get the guitar from.
Oh my god, yes, the
we-
Ripper.
Tenris.
We had
Yeah.
actually done Kara already, and then we were like, oh, okay, so it came out, so we were curious if we could still get to the boss
Yeah.
that was added, and you could, which was great, and there was no trash.
Yeah, because
we had already- Yeah,
So
we had
that's
already
why
cleared
you were
everything.
able to do your crazy strat where you like pulled him across the entire raid. It would
Yeah,
be,
we just
you
ran
can't
around
do
in a
that.
circle
That wouldn't
on the
work.
balcony.
Well, you'd have to.
Next to him, there's the circle, so you only clear a few packs of trash to open
Yeah.
the area anyway.
Yeah, basically. Okay, so we had went into Kara. Me and it was my warrior, Mel's priest. So we're super geared to the teeth, and my tank set, like, I guess spoiler for what I've been doing, but my tank set, I went in one run of Sunwell Plateau and got my boots, belt, and bracers all in the one run. So my tank set is popping now. So I went in Revenge Spec, Mel went in Discipline, and then we took two new guildies who are actually mods on my Twitch, Cappy and Zamora, and they're fresh 70s, so they had all blue gear. So we took them in and we killed all the bosses up to what's his name, the Spark guy, and we got him I think Zamora got 4 pieces, 4 epics, and then Cappy got like 3. And we just got them some gear, and then we found out that the boss was in. Went back, all the trash up top there had despawned, so we didn't have to clear it, and then we were able to kill that boss, and I got my Arcanite Ripper, and so.
Which is probably the rarest and coolest item in the game, I think. Like, it's, I mean, not rarest, I guess, because everyone's getting it now, but it's so cool. Could you imagine on retail having that item? It'd be insane. And a lot of
Does it
people,
have what's the drop rate on it? Is it 100%?
100%, but only one person gets
Yeah.
it.
but
You only
back
get
in
3 chances, right? I think you only
yeah, only 3
lockouts to
lockouts.
get it.
And back in the original game, nobody knew what it was because it wasn't obvious, and so a lot of people just passed on it.
Yep.
And they were like, "What is this? This is terrible stats." And so only a few people have it in retail. Kind of amazing.
Yeah, it was something I always wanted, and now I'm gonna be annoying with it because you know that's just what
Don't
you do.
forget, you got to get your piccolo as well. Then you can force everyone to dance with your music.
Well, I've got my piccolo on. I think all 3 of my level 70.
That's such a Jerome thing.
3 out of 4
I feel
of my
like
level
Jerome's
70s.
just sitting there, just playing his guitar, piccolo, like everybody's dancing, having a great time.
Yeah, you can force everyone that's not dead from the zombie invasion. You can force them to dance. So they'll have a nice day.
Yeah, I love my piccolo, but oh yeah. So Mel, you forgot to say we hit level 70 on our alts. Your paladin and my.
Did that happen since last week?
Yeah, it happened over the weekend. Remember, we finished Sunday night.
Nope, I don't remember, but yeah, we did hit 70. It was great. And then I was like, Bob kept trying to get me to log into my priest, but logging into my priest was like super overwhelming to me, I think, because everything changed, right?
Yeah.
Like I had to go respec, I had to go figure out all of the other things, and I was just like, I don't want to do this. I had to rebind keys.
Totally me on my druid. I just didn't even want to play it. I'm like, I gotta respec, I gotta get the dual spec. I gotta
there's just so much.
I gotta research all the new rotations. Like I did it slow.
Oh my god.
I did it slow. I started with my rogue, got him all set, combat, and got him his glyphs. Then I raided with him a few different raids, and God, dude, freaking rogues are back to pumping, baby. I haven't even tried assassination yet, but I was just like top 3 DPS in every boss fight. Still sucked on trash because we don't have fan till Wrath, but like it was glorious and had a blast with that. And then a couple days later, tried my warrior. I tried the Wowhead suggested Fury build. Just to let you guys know, it did not work for me. I might have been doing some stuff wrong, but
might have been broken at some point. There was definitely some. I don't think people are playing Fury right now. Maybe I'm crazy, but
they are, but they're not. They're not going down to Titan grip. So I I raided a Sunwell with my rogue, and there was this Fury warrior that was doing pretty good. So I, of course, inspected and screenshotted all of his talents and stole his build. Then ran Fury on my warrior, and you basically go down to the 2 bleeds in the arms tree, and then you go down like just a little bit before Titan's grip in Fury, and that actually performed pretty good. But from what I've seen, arms is definitely the way to go. It's what I'm going to try next.
That's such an old school, like 2007 way of getting a build. It's just like you see a guy pumping and you just like take a picture of his build and steal it in game.
Yep.
That's so funny.
Yep.
Like screenshot all his gear and like his enchants and stuff.
Yep. And the way
I did that in arenas.
I had to do like 4 screenshots.
I'm not done with my screenshots. Like, get back here.
I'm stealing.
But yeah, I mean that worked out pretty good. But Fury just doesn't feel the same. It really doesn't. It feels lackluster, and I'm hoping arms feels better. But regardless, arms PvP and arms prot is pretty freaking awesome right now.
Yeah.
So I want to try everything. Like I even want to do assassination because my rogue got the KJ dagger.
Yeah, wow.
But and I've got the Vash dagger and the season 3 dagger. I want to try it, but I don't know if I want to waste money on Mongoose just to try 2 Mongooses just to try 1 or 2 raids. I just don't know if I
you shouldn't be spending any gold right now. No,
I've spent a lot of gold. So
yeah, you spent a lot, huh?
Yeah, like because I'm trying to get the last few pieces from Sunwell Plateau for the rogue and for the warrior. The rogue did get boots and belt, but I didn't get bracers.
Don't forget, you also need your Rod of the Sun King and your Fell Striker. You got to do 80 runs of Fell Striker farming in Upper Blackrock Spire.
I've done a little bit of. I've tried like 5 lockouts at Ubers, and they were super fast. So
you're definitely gonna need more than 5. I'm gonna schedule you in for about 100 runs next week. Okay, so just When Mel is gone, you're just gonna wake up and you're gonna get right to farming.
Well, the problem is that I think what I'm going to do is just keep my warrior camped there because the lockouts are just too quick. Like,
yeah,
and then I'll just achievement hunt on my rogue and come back, as like my lockouts open back up, and then I'll just do it like that. But I'm also thinking that Blizzard might be doing some nerfs to both the Fel Striker and
I think they're gonna nerf both of those things.
I would be surprised if they allow the meta to be using like level 60 and 70 weapons for everything.
So people don't know there's these crazy weapon swaps rogues can do based on the way their class works with Fan of Knives and everything. So it's just like you can do the most insane damage. Like I was watching Simon Eyes doing like 9,000 DPS on trash packs. And it's just like, it's going to be probably nerfed. So maybe don't bother.
We had Simon Eyes on the show just a few weeks ago. Great dude.
Yeah, he should stop talking about that stuff because he's the only one that's going to do it. So he's the one that's going to get nerfed the most.
Well, like
he's going to limit his content, right? Like, please don't nerf this. I'm going to take this behind
all that stuff.
Pay gate or something.
I think what they'll do is a easy fix that they've done to many items and just be like, doesn't work as well past certain level, So it'll just nerf the proc rate, so it won't even be worthwhile. But so been getting a ton of gear on those guys. I did finally log into my lock, and I spec'd him Destro, and I tried the dummy out, and was pulling more damage than both the rogue and the warrior, the two different specs I tried. And on top of that, Conflagrate is broken on the dummy. But that, at the same time, if my rogue was as geared as my lock was, my lock's damn near close to Biss now. He's got, the KJ weapon, KJ helm, like he's really geared. So I still think the rogue might beat him out if he had the same gear type. But I'm going to try raiding on the lock next week. I just want to get as much raids in as I can. And with all the server queue problems and everything, it's been real easy to just slide into Benediction. Like we have this huge server that has a ton of DKPs. It's been real easy just to slide in during the day because people can't log on to come to their...
Yes, you're taking their spots. It used to be so regimented and like there'd be 25 people signed up. And now it's just like 10 of them aren't there. So the GDKPs, this is the single best time if you're just like good at logging into the game. You can just show up to raids and people will take you because that's like the biggest reason nobody's can raid because they're all in the queue. So
and it's so easy. My rogue was on a run that was pretty good. We did Sunwell in 45 minutes.
Oh my God. I
still had 15 minutes left on my flask, and I took my flask prior to the poll, so it probably was even shorter. And then my warrior was in a struggle bus, Sunwell Plateau, and it only took an hour and 15. So it's nuts. And like most of them have dropped the prices, so it's only 1,000 per tier piece, and every other thing starts at 500. It's been really cool, and I suggest everybody try to get in because I know you hate GDKPs, a lot of you, but like right now it could be really beneficial for you.
I don't know if people know this, but Subtle, I'm pretty sure he's the one that's famous for like tanking both of the elementals in Illidan, right? It's one of the things. I feel like and that now people are just routinely doing kind of stuff like that because the raids are so much easier. So the stuff that people thought Subtle was so impressive for, people can just do it now on any character, like a green character. So this is the best time to raid. If you just are nervous about raiding, there's almost no way for it to be bad, except if you're in my raid. Because I did a 3-hour SSC the other day, and it was like, I don't know what happened, but don't worry about it.
Wow. Oh, man.
It happens sometimes. Okay. Just
it happens sometimes.
Natural.
Well, the good thing about using the big G, because I know Farrelita has one too.
Yes,
the good thing about
stacks.
using those is you're going to get a good raid lead, and that's the biggest thing. Even though lots of them aren't even have to talk much anymore because everything's so easy.
They don't even say anything anymore.
But it's still, it's going to be good if you have someone like that running it. It's going to be at least decent.
This is off topic. We could start like some kind of like AI based raid leading service, and we just like take a little bit of everyone's cut, and we just like recruit the people, and you don't have to say anything, right? You do it with software. Anyway, sorry, off topic, but this is scalable.
I feel like that would be against terms of service, maybe, because you're using a bot.
Yeah, using our bot to run all the raids. It just recruits people. It like auto checks their gear and like rejects certain people. I'm sorry, it just has to happen. And then like it checks your gold, like you have to trade it gold.
Who you are.
It rejects me, and then it invites other people.
Yeah, but I've been
like, this is my raid. You can't reject me.
Well, the robots they're fighting back.
What else have I been doing? I've been doing so much. I've had like a 16-hour stream, a few 12-hour streams this last week. I have 2 accounts and a twink on each, level 29 twink on each one. So I'll go into the queue to get into a twink game. The queues are usually like 15 to 30 minutes.
10 minutes is too long for me. I always forget that I'm queued.
Well, see, and then on the other account, I'll do other stuff. I'll do achievements, or I'll do something else, and that's been really cool because I feel like I'm doing 2 things at once.
Sounds really great. I tab back and I'm like, I already missed the queue. It's like there's just no queue left. It's just, standing there.
Well, it is annoying at times, but I have both of my accounts set to sound is always on.
I don't play with any sound because of the stupid login screen with the dragon. So
that does drive me nuts. But if like I'll hear the queue while I'm on the other account, but the trick is I have to go stand at a place where people aren't making shit and crap, where it's like, so I'll have to queue then walk them over to an empty room so I don't hear that background noise. But yeah, the dragon thing, if I'm queued on one account and in another one, that is annoying because I hear that dragon constantly on the other account.
It lags my computer. If I have more than 2 clients open, my computer just bogs down. They really should have like made this a little less fancy of a login screen. Got like all these particle effects and a dragon. Yeah, maybe just get back to the launcher like it used to be, or like you just logged in, right?
Yeah, I would be down. And if you're in queue, the worst is you can't turn off your sound at that point. Like you can only turn off your sound if you get out of queue.
No, you open up your sound mixer and you just mute World of Warcraft. That's what I did for this. Because my sound was on, right? So I just opened up my sound mixer.
To become DJs and audio technicians just to not hear a dragon sound.
Interesting. I can't believe I didn't think of that. Wow. But yeah,
sorry, who's in IT
what
here?
else? Like, yeah, but systems and network engineer isn't like has nothing to do with like knowing sound.
Yeah,
everybody thinks everybody thinks if someone's in IT, they know everything about everything. It's a big fucking thing. Like, there's a lot of different, expertise.
I teach Bobby stuff all the time on computers.
Oh, dude, the help desk guys when I was a systems and network engineer were awesome. They were always teaching me the desktop stuff that I just would just like. Things that changed that I didn't even know about. I was like, damn, that's good.
Well, I didn't update OBS for like 3 years, and then I was like, I wonder why my computer, like the stream's laggy, it like keeps crashing. And it's like, oh, maybe if I just updated it, it'll work. And it's been like a lot better. So,
nice.
Oh my God, my employees, I swear, every time they call me and they're like, my computer is just running so slow. I think I need a new computer. And I'm like, have you updated it? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, no, you haven't. Update your computer. And they're like, but it's going to take 3 hours. And I'm like, it doesn't take 3 hours if you do it.
It does if you haven't done it in 5 years, though.
Yes, I know. I'm like,
I haven't updated to the new Windows. I'm never going to. I just always put it off forever.
My computer actually doesn't meet the requirements to update to the new Windows. Oh my God, no. Yeah.
The worst is when eventually they just have enough of you like putting it off, and just like mid presentation, they just restart your computer and start like a 2 hour update. which they will.
Yeah, they
do
only give
eventually.
you so long, right? Like you know how you like delay,
time's running out.
right? Yeah. Then all of a sudden you're in a very important meeting and it's like
Yep.
forced update. Great.
I've seen that happen on live streams with like esports events, and it just starts updating the computer.
Come on, people.
Yeah, well, they obviously don't have a good IT because you can set it and like not do that. But besides the point,
I need a good IT.
I think there's tons more I've been doing. Been like trying to get fishing back going. Been just doing all kinds of different stuff, but I can't think of anything else like super pertinent.
Oh, we tried to do the ZG mount run with me and Bob for the Tiger mount.
Yep.
It didn't go well.
It didn't?
Oh, no. Wait, what
Dueling it should be okay.
No,
Yeah,
I don't know what we did wrong.
She's leaving something out. I did it easy as pie with 2 blue-geared people on my warrior. I mean, literally, like I was like, all right, guys, we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to do this, and then they all just died. I was like, okay, never mind. We're on him. Okay. Like I thought, I was like, we're probably gonna have to like, because I tried it like one drunken night with 2 warriors, an arms warrior and me as Fury Prot, and like we had to kill him so fast because we didn't have a heal, and like we just kept screwing up, and they kept rezzing, right? But yeah, I just went in and we just like we had 1 single target DPS in blues and then 1 healer in blues, and we just destroyed it. Like he killed, worked on the ones that were up higher. It was easy as pie. But then Mel and I tried on my rogue combat spec and her priest, and that's
don't they
where
CC the healer at something like don't they have a very long CC or something?
Well,
that might be it.
That was the thing.
Well,
the gouge, and most likely my warrior was just parrying, dodging, or blocking the gouge. Whereas my rogue, he'd get hit with it, and then Mel, we only tried it twice though. But like Mel, the second time we tried it, Mel was going to use the old school jump on the wall thing.
Yeah,
but guess what?
Before we talk about that. So we're clearing out that side of mobs, right? So that we can jump on the wall, right? I don't know what those things are that like shoot things that like knock you down.
They spin. They
Yeah,
do like
Yep.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't even have time to cast a shield in between getting knocked down. And I'm just like, wait, what is happening right now?
They'll just unlock you.
Well,
for that situation though, if you're like healer DPS, just have the healer stand like really far back so that the gouge ends by the time like the mobs actually reach the healer.
Okay.
See, that's we need to use this whole time.
Okay.
I've had the same exact.
I spent a lot of time in there, dude.
I've done rogue druid, and we couldn't do it back in back in TBC, and it was literally not possible. Like we were just getting stunlocked. But then we did like the very fancy strat, like where the rogue like pulls everything away, and that did work out. Where it's basically bug abuse.
Yeah, but the wall doesn't work anymore.
So
doesn't?
She was gonna kite him on the wall. So we tried it. I get gouged. She goes and jumps on the wall, and they warp
me down.
They no. It doesn't warp you down. It warps
me down.
them to.
No,
it warps you down.
My character down.
It warps you to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that was the change they made for AoE taking, and it basically stopped us from doing that strat. So we were just like, forget it.
Do you think that might be them? Okay, I've been wanting this for a long time. I sent all these emails, no one reads them, but I want them to get rid of safe spotting in dungeons in Season of Mastery 2, right? Because I just thought like that was one of the things about hardcore that was kind of a buzzkill, was like everybody had all these safe spots, right? Like the wheel and dead mines. What if they just got rid of all of that? And so every hardcore dungeon was like such a a feat.
I don't know.
Instead of it just being like knowing all the reset spots.
Some of the safe spots were hilarious fails, though. Like these were hilarious F's in chat videos where like 4 people try to jump on the safe spot in dead mines and only one of them makes it. The rest of them fall to their death. Like, I mean,
I like that. Yeah,
it did make for some pretty funny stuff. But I mean, either way, though, hardcore was tough.
Like safe spots. I'm kind of hoping
you're
this
talking
is off
about the
topic, but
you're talking about the wheel though. You're talking about at the
Yeah,
ship.
that wheel.
That was an easy one. The one in the room with the big old forge. That's
that
a
was
hard,
stupid.
safe spot to hit.
That was clearly a dumb one to do. I don't know why anyone thought that was a good idea.
Well, let's do that or die. It's just a leap of faith,
Well,
right?
I choose die.
Oh, but yeah, I'm sure there's other stuff I'm forgetting. But yeah, I've just been doing so much, been overwhelmed a bit. But
That's
just
what the
trying
free
to.
patch is meant to be, is overwhelming. You're not supposed to be relaxed.
Well, I think I'd be a lot better if I wasn't doing things on 4 different characters and then 2 different twinks, but I've made my life a little bit hard. And my brain goes a little foggy when I'm just like, okay, this is my new rotation. All right, I got to practice this, and I'm practicing on a dummy, and I'm just like, ooh. And then by the end of the day, I'm just like, I can't even answer a straight question because my brain is so foggy.
I'm not trying to freak out over here, but I've been in a queue and it's been stuck for like a long time. Does that ever happen where it doesn't like move in position? Should I be concerned?
I don't know.
I'm never looking at it myself.
I'm looking at it a
I'm
lot
just
right now. Like anytime I look over here, it's like I'm looking at a queue and it's not going down. And I don't know what that means.
I actually got in the queue. I started it when we started the show, and it went
So did I.
a lot faster than I thought. It was like I was 6,000 some in queue, and now an hour and 10 minutes later, I'm already in, and now have to worry about jumping over here.
Wow, that's really quick.
Yeah.
Normally 6K is like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Mine's going up. It's like 607 now. I don't understand. It's just going up.
607.
Oh, it's because if people get kicked from the server, they have like a 3 to 5 minute grace period to jump back in the game ahead of the queue. So you're probably seeing people getting booted and then logging back in.
Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna freak out. I think I'm gonna keep it relaxed, but I might be in a bugged queue.
Well, I hope. Well, I am hope not. But yeah, that's really all I've got for what I've been doing. I can't really think of anything else. I'm sure I'll think of it after the show. But lots of cool stuff. Gearing up my characters. Things are pretty cheap. GDKPs. Most of the items are getting sold. So like you're getting, a fairly good payout. Mount Hydro payouts have been rough. They've been like less than 500 gold, but Sunwell Plateaus have been 12 to 1,500 payouts, and it's for a short time. Like you can't do any better gold per hour at the moment, and yeah. All right. Well,
GKPs are the future.
anybody have anything
the
last to
present.
say about what everybody's been doing or anything?
I've been playing my Pro Warrior a lot. Been having so much fun on that. Honestly, it's so cool.
I've
My
been
Pally
hearing a lot
actually
of
feels
people.
kind of bad after I play Pro Warrior right now because Pally doesn't have like the full toolkit yet that we will at 80. But yeah, having a blast on Pro Warrior for sure.
And you're playing just Revenge spec, or are you playing like both?
Actually, I
of
haven't
heavy?
even played the Revenge spec yet. I've been playing Shockwave the whole time so far. The AoE
That looks
thread
really
is pretty
fun.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna do an arms build to raid, and then I think I'm gonna switch to the deep prot and just have the 2 specs be both 2 different types of prot. And I think I'm gonna try to tank a couple raids because my gear definitely is good enough to do it, and I've never tanked a raid, so I want to do
Just
it.
do it, man. You see how easy the raids are. This is the time to learn.
Yeah, I actually just did it on my Warrior's like a fresh 70. It's like 10 hours played or something. Some of that's AFK time and stuff. It's just season 4 gear, some level 60 gear like Mark of Cthulhu, like heavy dark iron ring, stuff like that. I tanked all of Sunwell, no problem. Brutalis was a little scary a couple times, but that's about it.
I would say
Nice.
that what the twins? What type fight called? I always say it's twins, but I don't know if that's like the classic one. The one with
Paradar twins,
yeah, that might
Yeah.
be the one you don't want to be the first time tank on. That one might, and even now I've wiped on it recently.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna start out with ZG. you know?
Yeah, good start.
Just do a little-
Yeah.
Yeah,
ZA.
Zia is really, really quick now. Like casual runs like 20 minutes now. It's crazy.
That is nuts.
Guys, I just got kicked out. I don't know what happened.
Oh, sorry, I kicked you out. My queue was
I blame
bugging. So.
Jerome.
Yeah, it's my fault.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, well, let's move into time for the news. All right, so last week we had Scotty J, Ruggs, and Classic Go for a conversation about the proposed eye-level nerf of TOC and Ulduar gear. And this was an idea that I actually had before any of this stuff ever came out. A month and a half ago, I had this idea because I hated the huge jump between TOC and Ulduar. And it's something that made me like quit until Cataclysm back in the day. I quit, towards the end of TOC and was just like, kind of like I just like didn't like the raid. I didn't like the huge jump in gear. I didn't like the way you bought gear outside. There was just a whole bunch of stuff I didn't like. But we talked about it. They told me how dumb I was for wanting it to be nerfed. I still would have preferred it being nerfed, but one of the counter arguments that I had actually given a month and a half prior with my suggestion, my second one was, if people are going to get angry about this, why don't we just buff Ulduar gear a bit? Well, Blizzard obviously listens to Warcraft Reloaded, because right after we had this conversation, 4 days later, they come out with, hey, we've heard you guys. We hear you don't want the nerf, but how about a little buff to Ulduar gear? And that looks like that's what they're going to do. They're going to buff Ulduar gear by 6 eye levels, putting it more in line with TOC gear. And I see this as a win. What do you guys think?
Well, first of all, I do think they listened to you, because I had not heard anyone talking about this issue.
No one was talking about it.
So no one. First of all, I don't think anyone cared except you. I mean, I guess everyone cares now, but like, this was your issue. You were driving the bus on this. And if maybe there was someone else that I don't know, but I didn't even consider this to be an issue. I always thought that like the end game of Wrath was considered pretty much perfect. I didn't know that like the TOC situation with the item level, it seems really smart to buff instead of nerf, because people don't like losing what they had. Like, they don't want to feel like they're losing something. So it's like a psychological thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, if what you're saying is true, then it kind of seems like we do need nerfs, though, because all these items are going to be so strong in TOC. And just making Ulduar gear a little bit better, I don't think that really fixes the issue. But hey, I'm glad they're listening to you. And yeah, I swear I did not even consider this an issue until until recently. So
either nerfing TOC and IACC or buffing Ulduar takes care of specifically what I had a problem with, is just Ulduar being worthless after TOC comes out. So,
and it's such a good raid too. So
yeah, so either of the changes fixes the problem. I did have a thought, that it might make other classes more in line at the end of the game with melee classes, because melee classes all get better and get really better. And then the only really caster class that kind of scales with the new gear is specifically the comp fire mage, or the spec fire mage. So like, I thought it would be just a way to keep everybody kind of more in line and make the content a little harder. But I never did ICC proper back in the day, and from what Ruggs and Scotty J tell me, ICC is really hard. So
yeah,
maybe it was a bad idea to nerf it. I don't know. All I know is that this does fix my specific problem and I don't care if there's a big jump from Nax gear to Ulduar gear. Like, Ulduar's a harder raid. Like, rating dropped off big time back in the day when Ulduar came out. So
yeah, it goes from like 1 night of raiding a week, or maybe 2, to 3 to 4. And it's just like SSCTK. A lot of guilds are going to disband.
And I think this might help all of the dad guilds and the mom guilds. We're not going to leave you guys out.
Mom guilds are the best.
Across Azeroth. So I think this is kind of cool. Subtle, you haven't really, I don't even know where you stand on this one.
Honestly, I'm okay with them not changing it, but if they are going to change it, I would definitely prefer the buffing the eye level of Ulduar, not nerfing later things.
This nerf just feels bad, even if it might be good.
Also, like, one of the big things I feel like, so Wrath has like such a weird raid progression because you got like the first tier with like Nax is just like crazy easy, and like it's just rehashed content and everything. And from what I understand,
that's in my group, dude. We never got past what's his name, Gluth.
Oh yeah, because he was bugged.
Yeah.
I hope he stays bugged because that's a much more fun way to tank him.
Yeah. I was actually doing the like zombie kiting on that fight when we killed it, and it was super fun. It's like one of the more engaging.
Demoralizingly not fun at all. I would say not fun.
You just gotta have a kiter that can handle it. But
you have to have a rank 1 level kiter to get through that fight right now.
Honestly, I think it's actually like. The problem was just people didn't understand there was a different way to do the fight. I mean, if your tank kites Gluth and like, or you have someone kite the ads, I mean, it can be fine. But but the problem was everybody was trying to do the exact strat, and I thought it was really neat that we came up with different strats to actually get it done. Like I thought that was neat.
You guys came up with strats. We just gave up. We just thought we were really bad at the game, and we just stopped.
Like the way we did it, so I was like kiting zombies, like holy wrathing them, stuff like that, and then we were also kiting Gluth at the same time. So you had like this double kite going on, which was really cool.
Like parallel, like two ships. Oh my god!
It was pretty cool. It actually made like otherwise like kind of mundane fight really interesting, I thought. But yeah, so from my understanding, back in the day, they didn't even plan to like have Nax in there. Like Ulduar was supposed to be the tier 1 raid, but they didn't have it done in time. So they were like, okay, we already have Nax. It kind of fits with the theme here, so we can just rehash this really quick. It won't take much dev time. So you have this weird situation where you have this crazy easy raid because they just like had to throw it in. They wanted everybody to experience it because like a lot of people didn't back in the day. There's a super small percent of guilds in like vanilla that had actually done it. So for most people, it actually was new content. And then you get Ulduar, widely considered like one of the best raids, maybe the best raid of all time that they ever made. And then after that, you get like another kind of half-assed raid. You get
TOC. It's success.
It's a 5-boss raid.
Let's hype it up now so everyone's hyped for it. Like we could have just lied and said Mount Hydro was good and everyone would have been like loving it. Let's just work on that now.
I don't think you could have gotten anybody to love Mount Hydro.
I kind of liked it. I want more wave-based raids. Like I want mostly wave. It's more chill for me.
I feel like now you're gonna get disconnected from this call on accident, right? If you're trying to promote, nope.
Yeah.
The TOC phase, that's a really good example of bringing up Hydro because the TOC phase literally feels like the BT Hydro phase and TBC if BT didn't exist. Like Hydro was the only
my
raid
favorite phase. BT was my least favorite part of that. I know everyone else liked it, but the Hydro part was the fun part.
Did you play a prop ally? Because I think it was only fun for prop allies.
No, it was really fun as a Circle of Healing priest. It was fun for healers. Because
I was a Circle of Healing priest, and it was not fun.
It was kind of fun. No. As a resto druid, you felt super important on the one fight.
Everything's fun as a Circle of Healing priest, I feel like.
You're right.
There's raids where everybody's taking damage. It was just like so satisfying. It was like, I'm not doing really anything, but I'm healing.
But it looks like you are, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. And then that one person in that one group that's taking a lot of damage, and you're like, I don't have time for you.
Yeah, it's just like a hunter. It's a hunter in the melee group, and so you're healing the hunter, but nothing's happening. That's the worst. Yeah. Not to get off topic, but the random like range person in the melee group was like the worst part of playing Circle of Healing Priest. And
I got a weak aura. I had a weak aura that when I would hover over somebody's
I was supposed to get that, and I never got it. It's been a year and a half. I never got it, so sorry about that.
That was a game changer, right?
It would have been, yeah.
There were times where I was like, why don't I have more healing? And then I realized I was Circle of Healing the wrong person.
And that's why all my parses were bad.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. We've learned a lot today.
Yeah.
But I still don't know. Still not sure. Is it actually like, do they say they're actually going to do it, or that's just their current like their current thought. Like, I don't know that.
I think it's their
They didn't say
suggestion.
for sure, but they said like that's what they're leaning towards, I think.
right now.
They straight
they're
up are
waiting
just
to hear-
making things up and seeing what people say. They're just like,
Yeah.
what do you guys like that? How about
Yeah.
this?
It's good for them that they're getting
I like
feedback.
it.
I like that for sure. Not
I
just
do
like
like
doing
that they're
stuff.
listening, right? Like
Yeah.
they
Maybe they shouldn't
definitely
listen
did.
though. Do we really know what's best? Maybe they know.
I mean, I
know,
do. I wish
feel
they
like
would just
do that
hire me.
too.
Yeah, just hire you.
Okay, at least I wish they would hire somebody who hates retail. They need someone in there that hates retail to understand what not to do and what to do.
No, they're gonna hire someone to try to bridge the gap between the two. That's the idea.
But
They want you to go to retail and then come back and then go back to retail.
You guys, what's going to happen is like we're going to go to Classic Cataclysm, and
I'm so excited for that. Firelands.
Then retail is going to go to the next expansion, right? And then all of a sudden, the next expansion for both is going to be like the same expansion, right? And everybody's going to be together.
Can I pitch this?
They're going to be like, what?
Classic Cataclysm. They pretend to fix all the issues, and they add like Dragonflight areas to Classic Cataclysm to like sell it as this big ad for Dragonflight.
No,
That'd be
I think
sick.
they're just going to merge them, right?
They-
Like it's just going to
they
be
could
the
just
next
bring that
expansion.
to the
is gonna
Dark
be,
Moon Fair.
Yeah,
It's going to be the retail and the classic version in one expansion, and it's just going to all be the same. And then they're just going to have to focus on one game again.
really gonna get
plan.
off topic here, but the one thing that they have left in their toolbox to get Classic really hot again for like a season of mastery. Imagine if if your Classic achievements turn into retail achievements. So you like go and get a bug mount. I know you're gonna say no, but imagine you get a bug mount, it turns into a retail bug mount. You go and get like, Lore Master, it turns into retail Lore Master. I'm just saying, it would really get some subscription numbers up, money.
They've already kind of done that, right, with Season of Mastery. where
Yeah,
you
they
can,
did. They tested it.
transfer the characters into like TBC Wrath. So
I
you
don't
actually
think that
could
was
go
an
back and
accident
get
that they
those
did that.
achievements.
Yeah, I don't think it was an accident that they decided to test that out and nobody noticed. It's almost
Yeah,
like
but
it was
I mean,
fine.
you guys have to think about this realistically. Like retail players coming and playing classic, and classic players going and playing retail does not add more revenue for them. They're already paying for a subscription.
Well, retail, I'm not qualified here, but I believe retail makes them a lot more money per player, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
My-
the cash shop's
my
like way
assumption.
more fleshed out.
Yeah.
For sure.
So they want the classic players to
cash
trust
shop.
some retail.
Yeah.
Either they add
but
a
I
cash
think
shop to Wrath or they move people to retail. It's either way.
Listen,
Also,
they make all
yeah,
their
the
money on Candy
expansion.
Crush anyways. So like, what do we even care? Like, why don't they just add Candy Crush to play while you're in the queue? And I think that would make them more money
I
than
would
people going to retail.
1000% play Candy Crush waiting in the queue.
100%, right? Like, yeah. And I'd probably do some of the purchases on Candy Crush while I'm waiting in the queue because I'm annoyed.
I would buy everything.
I'm just saying, use what you got, Blizzard. Like, you're not getting us to go to retail, but you might get us to pay money on Candy Crush.
Bob would play. I can see his face.
All this retail talk, I threw up a little bit in my mouth. But
Okay, never mind.
Wait,
It's all
is
right,
your
it's all right.
world server down too, Bip? Or are you in
Mine's
login?
great.
Nope, my rogue is currently AFK in Ashara, and my warrior is AFK in STV. So
Okay, well, mine is telling me the world server is down, which
Is-
apparently
You're
is a
back
lie.
in queue again. So.
yeah, just log into a different character. It's not in Shatrath or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah, they closed your
is
area for
Shatrath
maintenance.
the world?
Okay, a world server is different zones. I don't know how they're all allotted, but like that's why that one
Oh.
time when we were in SSC, Zangermarsh went down, and like anybody that was in Zangermarsh was fucked, but anybody that was out was able to move freely. So that's what world servers are, just different zones throughout the game. So it looks like the one that your priest is in is currently
Yeah,
down.
they're doing maintenance. It'll be back in like 12 hours. So just
Yeah. Thank you. Now, and you might get in.
Well, okay. I think that, I don't know. Write into us. Let us know if you're watching on YouTube. The few of you that do that, leave us a comment. Tell us what you think about this change. But let's move on to the next thing. The zombie apocalypse is upon us. The Scourge invasion started. It started out pretty easy. I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. For the last 2 days, maybe 3 days, I've hated life on my bank alt trying to post stuff on the auction house. I've heard other cities are a little bit better, but Stormwind, where my level 1s are and can't go anywhere else, that has been a big problem. I've been just dying constantly before I could post anything. The auction house went down the other day, for I don't know, six hours on Benediction.
That should have been a bigger deal. That was weird. And we'll talk about that later, but that was weird.
Dude, I probably would have been a lot more pissed about it if I could actually use the auction house. Because
right.
So the plague started out, it was a 10-minute, easily dispelled debuff, right? And, at the end of 10 minutes, you turn into a zombie. But you could go to an NPC to get cleansed. Anybody else could cleanse you easy. Now it's a 2-minute debuff. It's extremely hard to cleanse, like multiple times trying to cleanse. The NPC is gone, and life's rough right now for bank alts, man. It's the bank alt apocalypse. I don't know, how have you guys been faring?
I've been go ahead. Go ahead, Jerome.
So I've been really I thought I was having a lot of fun with it, but then it's like you're off to go do an activity and you're like, geez, could these zombies just stop? It's like, it's fun to do it, but then it's like, I got stuff to do, man. The pre-patch is here. I got to get my characters their professions. And you go over to the battle master to queue and he's dead. And you go to the flight master and she's dead. And you go to the auctioneers and like everyone just spreads plague to you and attacks you with their zombies. And it's just like, can you guys chill out? And then Blizzard has the gall to sell Aranicus, they have this new server, as not having the plague, so that they try to get more people to transfer. They're like, oh, actually, guys, if you're not having a lot of fun, come over to the new server. If straight from Fairlina, you can transfer.
Brilliant.
And there's no zombies here, so just enjoy all the other stuff.
Oh, dude, now you're scaring me, Jerome. They're gonna tell us that. All right, well, people aren't taking the free transfers from Fairlina or Benediction. Yep, so we're leaving it up, and we're gonna change it to a 30-second debuff. You're not gonna be able to go anywhere, and it's undispellable now.
It's gonna get worse. Phase 5 is the worst phase, though.
Oh. See,
yeah, I've been just running around the cities on my pally, RPing it up, cleansing the city of all the ghouls and everything. And it's been a pretty fun time, actually, because I mean, right now, at least, if I get lucky on my cleanses, I can actually get rid of it myself, too, the plague.
The only thing worse than the zombie plague is getting dispelled by a good Samaritan when you're trying to infect other people. Oh, those paladins make me mad. It's like both sides are angry all the time. The dispellers are like the good guys, but they're also the bad guys, depending on who you are.
Dude, I'm trying to save everybody.
But if you're trying to, I'm not going to use the grief word, but if you're trying to infect other people and some guy comes over and dispels you, oh my God, the rage inside.
Oh man, well, it's definitely been interesting. Like, I don't know, like I used to be able to do this awesome thing where in the morning I would get on my 2 different bank alts. I would set them up on TSM to start scanning the auction house, and it takes a good, 10, 15 minutes. And then at the end, you can sell everything after it's done all of its work. And I'd go make my coffee. I'd talk to chat a little bit, just chill out. Now it's like I'm starting it, and like it gets done with 2 of them, and I pause the scan, and I sell those things, and then it's really become it used to be a relaxing time in the morning, and now it's become a very anxiety-filled time. Like, I'm like, how much can I sell in 2 minutes? How much can I sell in 2 minutes? The auction has to go slow. Oh my God.
Oh, Benediction's actually the worst too. Fairlina wasn't so bad. You go on Benediction, even a month ago, it was like, I can't use this auction house. Well, I guess I'll just never use it. So I just vendor all the blue items. I'm losing all this gold. but it's worth it because it just sucks on that auction house.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Well,
you go on Iranicus, I bet the auction house is super smooth.
I bet. But you also aren't going to have as many options, though, too.
You're
Same
right.
time. All right. Well, Zombie Plague is here, and it's definitely been rough for me. Tell us how it's been for you guys. All right. So on to something a little bit sad and shady, and shame on anybody who did this. But so there's been a lot of recent automated Alterac Valley suspensions. Now, I know, of course, some of them are definitely, well, probably a majority of them are legit because you complete jerks log in and AFK in a BG, and I hate you all if you've done it. Shame on you.
Well, I'm sorry. I just like to queue in and I go do laundry for maybe half an hour and I come back and I don't know what the problem is.
Shame on you, Jerome. No, you don't do that. I know for a fact you don't. And it's just, it's gross. If you want your weapon, I don't care if you suck at PvP at all, just at least try. But yeah, but a lot of people that were not AFKing were getting banned. People were getting banned for getting mines. Just to let everybody know, as long as there's not 7 people in the mine, if it's 1 or 2, they're doing you a freaking solid. You get more honor if you have that mine when you win the game. It's a good thing, okay? On top of that, people were getting banned for sitting in the tower and guarding, which is what I do every AV on my rogue or warrior, because that's how you win the game. Like,
yeah,
you're like, and it sucks when people don't guard it. Now, of course, if there's 7 people in a tower, you can move on and guard a different tower. Like, it's dumb to stay there. Like, you just need 2 to 3, maybe 4, and all you have to do is live and stop them spinning the tower and taking it back over. That's all you have to do. But getting banned for that really sucks. Like, and then like I've heard reports of there were guilds queuing AVs and trying to like clear out queues by mass reporting. There was a lot of different shenanigans, but Blizzard claims that they have a whole bunch of stuff in operation to make sure that this doesn't happen, and it's not just the reports. Although Stay Safe did a little test, has a video out of showing him getting booted and chat banned for just like 30 people or less reporting him. So this sucks, and I really wish there would be more of a look, because yes, Blizzard you can submit a ticket. They will reverse wrong bans, but you're already out of the queue at that point. You're already not going to be able to play that day, or maybe the next day too. Like, it's pretty egregious. How do you guys feel about this? I just talked forever there. Sorry.
I've been pretty negative towards this because my friend got banned. That he's on YouTube and he got banned. I know he does an AFK, so it's definitely some false bans. And the people that get wrongfully banned, it takes their motivation to play away entirely. Even when they get reinstated back, they won't want to play. So they're losing maybe even thousands of potential customers here. And I don't know why it's not a bigger priority for them, but
yeah, my friend Bushy Bottoms, who I've done BGs with a ton
name,
over. Yeah, he's a feral druid.
Of course.
Perfect name, but done tons of stuff with him over TBC BGs. The guy would hate life AFK, and he got banned during the holiday weekend and didn't get reinstated till after the weekend was over.
Yeah, nobody's working there.
Like, and that, like, that's what makes me so mad. If I didn't have somebody I completely trusted that it happened to, maybe I would be on the side of be like, oh, Blizzard probably knows what they're doing. But at that like for just him to get banned, like, I mean, he's a super wants to win at all times. Like he won't even like, you know how sometimes you need to go get a drink like while you're in a BG and you're like, okay, I'll just cancel this res one time and that'll give me 60 seconds rather than 30 seconds to get back and jump back in. He won't even do that. Like it's crazy that he got banned, and it just,
I mean, we've all got a story of somebody we trust that got banned, and I think that's why everybody's a little bit down on this, and it's
very
just
telling.
Feels like they need to rework the system because everybody has the one person they trust that did get banned, and if I didn't have that person, I'd be like, oh, they probably all AFK'd, you know, they're all, you know, lying, but everybody's got the one person they trust that's like, they shouldn't have been banned. I don't understand this. So
yep. And I do get it, because there, especially Alterac Valley, there is a ton of people who AFK. And like if I'm guarding a tower and we get attacked and it ends and I see this one guy that's just been standing there the whole time, I will definitely report AFK for sure. But that puts a debuff on him that says you're no longer getting honor until you attack a target. I think that's a good system, but
yeah,
the problem is people being degenerate and reporting people just because they think they're not doing what's right for the BG. And like, if you've ever been in an Alterac Valley, it feels like these people have brain deficiencies. They do not understand how to actually win the BG. They don't research anything. Like, you'll go into an Eye of the Storm and every idiot they'll tell you two different things, and they'll be completely thinking that they're right. They'll be like, we have to have 3 bases, period.
We either have to have 3 bases or we have to be mid, but there's like,
either
then 100%
say,
sure of one of the two.
then they'll say we have to have 2 bases and do mid. Both of those are a way to win the game. It depends on how the other freaking side is playing, or for how you actually combat the situation. It's not a 1-to-1, this always wins, idiots. And it drives me nuts that these people will spend all this time talking. Like, that's what we should do. We should ban the people that write like an hour's worth of talking in one BG chat because you weren't playing. You were just talking. Why don't you try playing the game?
We need Subtle to make a video of him solo tanking everything in the entire ending room. And maybe we can motivate some people to actually, you know, win the game instead of writing to each other.
Yeah, it's just like
paladins in there.
It's like, dude,
people don't even want to like pull Drek right now. Like, we'll have everybody in the chat be like, "We gotta pull now or we lose." And so I'm like, "Okay, I'm pulling. Let's do this." And then I pull. Everybody starts running away. I'm like,
and they keep
just follow me.
They reset the boss over and over. Like, if you're going to pull early, you have to have a lot there. And then if you're going to pull early and you don't have the graveyard, that's your one shot. The game's lost, and you go turtle mode if you wipe. So like, there's so much that goes into it, and everybody always just thinks it's this wins for sure thing, and it's not. Like, you have to understand what's going on in the rest of the BGs. And it just drives me nuts, man.
And we're 3 years in, and still most people don't understand it. So,
okay, pause for 2 seconds.
Mel leads the team to victory every game. Mel just starts writing, "Go here, do this, go capture Snowfall Graveyard," and everyone's like running over there. And
no, Mel doesn't do anything beneficial. But I do want to say, Bob, I'm gonna have to turn off WoW because everything's lagging like crazy for me with it on. So
yeah, the WoW screen is like super laggy for me nowadays.
Oh, here, do you want me to? Here, I'll.
I was just saying, if you want to play later, I have to get out. My computer sucks. Sorry.
Okay, you can always play on Bob's computer and do some achievements for him. He'll love that.
No, fuck
or
that.
you could stand and guard a tower, right? And hopefully not get banned.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in there and just AFK and get him banned.
That'd be terrible. I have a friend I was supposed
What
to play.
I logged
he's
you
back.
on the laptop.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so yeah, I've been a little upset. Subtle, you've been a little quiet on this issue.
Yeah, so I've done a ton of BGs. I probably farmed Battlemaster like 3 times over the years, you know, across like different characters and stuff. So I'm very familiar with how every BG like plays, what people actually do. And right now they're just casting too wide of a net trying to catch people, because like you guys, I know a few trustworthy people that have been banned and for AFK, and they very likely were not. But certain things you do in AV like won't necessarily get you stats on the scoreboard, but they are important to do. You defend a tower, sometimes nobody shows up. That's just how it goes. And with how quickly it ends after a tower is burned, like you may just have 0 time to actually do anything. Because normally the way it goes, like first 2 towers go down, then Drek immediately gets pulled, gets killed. So like you can't even run halfway up north by the time the game's over if your like role in that game was defending a tower.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there are plenty of people that are just straight up AFK, like 100%. But the metrics that they're going off of, they have to like be a lot narrower, because like right now they're catching people who are actually playing the game legit. And like, I mean, you just have to allow some of the people who are AFKing, they will slip through, they won't get punished, but that's just the cost of like
Probably
not banning
fine.
people who are actually playing legit, you know?
Well, and yeah, and like what you're talking about, Blizzard, someone came out and said like, well, if you're at a tower and nobody attacks it, you're not really helping the game. And I had to write
insane.
back to be like, well, listen here, like if you leave the tower, it's for sure getting taken back over. There is a rogue there that's just like, oh, there's 3 people here, I'm not going to try.
That's me. Like
Yeah.
on my rogue, I'm always trying to backcap. I'm looking for the towers that don't have anybody in them, or they have very few people in them. But even if there are some people in them, just as like a Hail Mary, sometimes I will just like click the flag, see if they're actually AFK,
Dude.
or they're actually there. And like half the time you actually do get the cap because they are all AFK. But then, you know, the other half of the time they aren't AFK.
It was hilarious when I first got my rogue worked up and I was getting all of his stuff. I went back to backcap one of the towers. There were 3 people standing there. I'm Alliance, so the towers are like a little easier to like, the Horde towers are a little bit easier to like. Oh no! It was our towers. I was going to recap the first tower there, right? And there were 3 people there. There. 2 of them standing right by the flag, 1 of them standing at the stairs. And I just go right in the little corridor in the window, and I recap the flag, and then I go back stealth and go back around the corner. I watched them, and about 15 seconds after I had recapped the thing, you see the characters start to move around. And they're like, wait, what just happened? It was hilarious. But
Alliance is just so fun for that too. Back in Classic, you could stand under the flag. Like there was like a way to jump on the table. Like there was like a set of knives or something, or swords. And you could like jump on the table and then cap without any archer shooting you. So I would always try to sneak over and cap Alliance bases. Like the Horde is so depressing because it's all these towers, right? And you can't really ninja anything because there's just some guy standing on the flag. But Alliance, you've got those big open bunkers, and it's like you can just kind of sneak in there.
Yeah, you can kind of hide in like the windows and the bunkers.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Like LOS all the archers and somewhat LOS the players there. But if you just don't attack them, they don't get like the little blinky icon notification from WoW to like tap back in and stuff. So a lot of times you can just literally click the flag and get it.
Well, and just a tip to everybody doing Alterac Valley. I don't know if people are like me. One thing I do quite often is like I just like to guard the first tower because everybody moves on, and then if there's too many people, then I'll move to the next tower and try to guard it. and like it's just like that's what I like to do every time. But maybe what you should do is kind of like, as a player, just switch it up. Maybe one time do that. Maybe the next time go up to the very top, because I wonder if everybody's reporting people in towers. You might be getting 300 reports over 12 to 15 games. It might be a huge net that like they're actually doing, but like we don't know that. Like, so maybe just try and like change it up, because it does supposedly read like damage to different things.
I do wonder if they're looking at the ratio of reports, like games played versus how many reports you get versus like an overall number of reports too. It kind of feels like they're only looking at overall number of reports.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I know that every single game I ride with the pack, and then I do a fake, like I pretend to ride with them, then I turn around, I go back to our base because I don't want anyone to report me. Then I go back to our base and I move back and forth for a long time. And then when somebody comes in the room, I just death grip them directly into our boss, and then they die. And I just do that every game. And I feel like it's won us some games occasionally. Like, you know, they don't have the graveyard yet, and like 3 or 4 of them are dead. That's pretty big. So, you know, but I do think I will get banned at some point for that. So, because I am not doing much.
A lot of people were getting banned for that. Like druids were specifically, because they would sit in like Van's room the entire game.
I would do that all game.
From the tank. Yeah.
At the start of TBC,
I think
it was
that definitely
so effective.
Counts as non-participation. For
I am totally participating.
I mean, you're participating for like 30 seconds.
Okay, but my role is more important than anything anyone's doing. If at the start of TBC, if you could cyclone the enemy tank right when he pulled, they would all wipe. They would all die because they would go right to like their healer. So it was more impactful than anything else happening. You could win the game by yourself. I mean, maybe only 1 out of 5, but it's still sick. I think that should count as anytime you can win a game by yourself. I think that should be like anti-AFK. Give me some positive reports.
Isn't Van saltable though? Like, can't
don't worry about it. I only did it a couple times. Maybe now it sucks because the bosses didn't scale with the pre-patch, so there's really nothing. You can just like go in there instantly. But at 80, it'll be sick because everybody will be super weak. That's when the Cyclone strat comes back.
It's going to be your time again.
Yeah, and I'm going to get banned, so good.
Yep.
Interesting. All right, well, I just wanted to let everybody know that's a thing, and, you know, it's been going on, so... Also, just educate yourself on how to win BGs and stop trying to educate people during the BGs, because that's not going to help.
It's a lot more fun to educate them during the BG.
All right. NoHitJerome, you have to leave?
No, I've got some time here.
Okay, cool. All right, well then let's go ahead and talk about the next subject. There's a whole bunch of stuff on it. It's been an ongoing topic over the last week, but server queues, yeah, they're here and they're here to stay.
I like them.
You like them?
I don't really know why I said that.
Hot take.
I went hot take. I went contrarian today.
I feel like Jerome's just trying to get some nasty voicemails coming in next week. I love the queues. How do you guys feel about that? Call in
today.
Argue with Jerome. No, okay. Listen, this whole like post, I feel like was nice because
why don't you explain the post first, though, for you? Because lots of people probably haven't seen the post. Lots of people that will listen.
Yeah, okay. So the post was a very, very long blue post about queue times, what is the problem with queue times, that layers are not the answer. Like, it was basically like, here's all the misconceptions about queue times. And then it kind of went to this place where it was like, mega servers. You guys created these mega servers, and that's the problem. So now transfer. And I don't know. You can summarize the blue post, and then I can give my thoughts if you'd like. Because
all right. So at the beginning, everybody, including myself, was confused because the queue times were up. We only saw, for instance, on Faralina and Benediction, we saw 4 layers. And we're like, well, wait a second. There were like 12 layers at TBC launch. Why don't they open up more layers, right? And everybody's asking this. And then finally they came out and said, listen, layers only alleviate different, we talked about world
Zones.
servers just a second ago. They alleviate lag and problems of overcrowding in certain zones. And they don't necessarily increase server capacity across the board. So the reason you saw 12 layers on TBC is because everybody was in Hellfire Peninsula. So that's why, that's why you saw all of the layers. But the issue is that the server capacity is at 15K, and that's actually hit. So the layers don't do anything unless a bunch of people are just in one spot, Shatrath or, that type of deal. Well, all of us, including Mel, were like, well, didn't they say before?
No. Don't take credit for this. I was sitting there and I was like, first of all, I don't know if this came off the same way to anybody else, but it sounded very condescending to me. I was like, oh, so I'm sorry, you're telling us that we have all this misinformation. I'm pretty sure you gave that information to us, but let me check my sources here. And then second of all, like, oh, you guys created these mega servers. No, you allowed us to create these mega servers.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's all Blizzard's fault.
This is a result of your poor management of server balance that these mega servers were created. Okay, so don't go at me like this is my bad, right? Don't tell me that you didn't know that your server capacity was gonna get hit when we went to Wrath. Like, F you, like, get out of here. You should have shut down the server way earlier, and then people wouldn't have created mega servers because it wouldn't have been possible. Okay. But then I went back and I was like, I swear to God, they told us that what layers were the answer to the queue problems back in original Classic, right? So I find this blue post. We are creating layers to alleviate the queues. F you. Okay,
I remember
so don't
that
tell me we have all this.
I don't want to interrupt
misinformation.
But
right?
I remember when they added the layers and the queue went down, and then they removed the layers and the queue went back up. And that both of those things, I remember them. They happened.
Yeah.
Now maybe we're at a capacity now, but there definitely was a point where layers seemed to help the queue.
Yep.
Correct. And so my biggest issue was not that, like, I get it. Now it's a different problem, but don't try to tell me that everybody's got this misinformation that layers solve queues. You put the misinformation into our heads. Like, that was your bad.
My
like,
brain is just so full of
told us.
misinformation now. I don't even know what's going on. I'm just I'm pumped full. I don't know.
Oh my God. I was so I was heated. Like, I've never posted in the Content Creator Discord. Like, I'm in there. I've never posted in there. I had to post about this.
I'm not even in there, so I can't even post in there.
Well, I was nice about it, okay?
Well, yeah, definitely keep being nice about it, because it's hard to get into that Discord. So stay in there.
I was nice about it, but now I'm on the podcast, so I don't have to be nice about it anymore. Here's my real thoughts about it, okay?
We definitely listened, though, after the TOC thing, so.
Yeah, like your passive aggressiveness in this blue post, like, I appreciate that you were trying to be helpful and communicative, but you were very passive aggressive and pretty much just blamed us for problems you created.
I was fuming that first day about the servers because I just spent a year and a half trying to get everyone I know to Faralina. I'm like, I'm selling it like a salesman. I'm like, hey, get to Faralina, guys. Every streamer, I'm like, this is the server. Come on, guys. And, you get some over, and then, maybe Laddie shows up on Faralina one day. You're like, oh my God. And then, and now they're like, actually, you guys should all just split up again. I just spent all this time getting all these people here or trying to help. I didn't get them here, and now they're half of them will be in Aranicus.
Yeah, I love that we paid to come over to this server, and now they're like, well,
we
you
paid
can
to
solve your
come over
queue
to the
problem.
server because we had to, because they screwed up and just allowed everybody from dead servers.
Every horde in the world to
it,
transfer to Whitemane.
Yeah, but like it wasn't just Whitemane; it was across the board. They allowed everybody from dead servers to go wherever they wanted, willy-nilly, free, and destroyed Alliance on Whitemane, who at the end of freaking throughout.
It was like balanced, right?
Throughout AQ and Nax, Whitemane was balanced. It was a fucking glorious server.
It's a beautiful server. My friend Palm played on there. Everybody loved it there. All the good players were there. I didn't know about this, but
they allowed that to happen. We were forced to spend thousands of dollars as a guild to move, and now they're telling us, "Hey, well, we need you to move again." It's like, dude, like, and I am one of the biggest Blizzard apologizers, but there's some things that you have to just say, hey guys, we fucked up. Like, that's what I want to hear them say. And can you help us now? Because that would get me a lot more than this whole bullshit of like, oh, now we don't see mega servers as the option. Like, it really makes it hard for me to be positive, and it's rough.
Before Subtle talks about this, I just want to mention one little thing, which is that they said clearly in I think it was the blue post, that Ironforge.pro isn't reliable data, even though it's just the raid data and the arena data. And now all of a sudden there's a new website that everyone's talking about. That's like the more accurate site. And it's like, oh,
that's
look
the
at
one
all
that
these
uses an add-on.
Oh, look at Sulfurous. It's 50-50. I'm not so sure that you should. I think the good data was the original site that they don't like. And it's telling them this bad story about old Blanchy. Sorry to bring that up.
Ironforge data right now, though, Ironforge.pro data right now is not going to be accurate.
No, they just updated.
Oh, I got to check it out.
But what I'm saying is that it only calculates people who have done arena, raids, or...
Well, and now it's not even arena, it's just raids.
But that's a pretty good picture of the data. That gives you a...
Is it, though? I mean, like, I haven't done a raid in...
Okay. So it's probably 3 times higher, maybe, but it's still giving you the balance, right? How many are on each side?
I don't think it's good right now. Like, specifically at this moment, a lot more people are leveling than normally would be.
That's true.
So, I think generally it's pretty good data to go off of, but at this specific moment, I think it's not a great picture.
Yeah,
I think when there's a valid raid happening that most people that are engaged in the game are either doing that or arena, I feel like it's a good picture. Right now, since pre-patch came out, I feel like it's not. Or since Joyous Journeys came out, really. I feel like it's not a good picture of what population is.
Yeah, well, and then the other site that everybody's talking about is the site run by that census add-on. And like now the census add-on is compiling data from everybody who has the census add-on into one site. And it's taking it's using /who constantly, taking unique names and adding them to the pool, right? So like that's how it's doing it. So it's only unique names. This could be like 7 of the people on that list could be one account. So that's where we come into a problem there. And yes, you definitely had that with the Ironforge.pro, but it was raiders. So
yeah,
it was only grabbing the people that I would raid with. But like right now, that site grabs about 12 different characters from me, where it would have only grabbed 2 last week. From Ironforge.pro. So that's where the problem comes in there. We need actual account info, and Blizzard is unwilling to give that to us. So we're going to have to just judge by these different sites, and that's just the way it is.
That's my biggest problem is like you're telling us not to look at third-party sites, but I'm sorry, if you don't give an alternative option, why would I pay to transfer to something that's just like I hope this one's good, right? Or 2, why would I trust that you're just like, yeah, they're balanced, don't worry, you should go there? right? Like,
Well, Subtle's the one that should be the angry one here because you were on quote unquote the perfect server, right? This was like utopia. You're on, the birds are chirping. There's like a picnic happening in the background. And now it's like you're Grobulous, right? It's like locked and
It's literally
a nightmare.
It's literally TBC's white mane 2.0. Grobulous was for the last half of TBC.
Server.
It was perfect, just like white mane was perfect for the last half of vanilla.
So the reason I'm on Grobulous, this is a pretty important thing to bring up, is because Blizzard just straight up killed my old server. So I was on Fairbanks before, and our server pop was like, I think 3,500, maybe 4K, which for me, like, that's great. I love like smaller servers, like more tight-knit community kind of thing. That was a great server for me. My guild had no intention of transferring off, and then Blizzard gave our server a free transfer with like no gold cap or anything. We had like lots of destination choices. One of them was Grobulous. That was the best option of what we were given for free. And our server died overnight. Like Blizzard just straight up killed it. Like they considered like a 3,500 to 4K pop server to be a dead server, which is insane. And they offered free transfers. They instantly killed our server and completely exacerbated this issue. And that's how we're in the spot we are now with these crazy queues. Like they straight up executed our server.
Well, and 4,000 would have been a mega server back in original TBC.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Yeah,
it
it's a good
great.
server.
And Blizzard's like, no, this is a dead server. 3,500, 4K people? Nah. Get all of them off there. We're gonna shut down this server.
I don't want to be negative here. I'm very positive, but I do kind of feel like they just move people around like a chessboard. They're just moving them around, so then the people will pay for transfers, which is, I mean, it's the kind of a boring answer of why all this is happening, but I think it's just like move people around a bunch and then they'll transfer and they'll pay money. And that's just it. It's just a business.
I hope you're wrong.
But honestly, like, why are they limiting? Like, here's my thing is that we did pay to transfer. And now you're telling me that we need to take this free transfer option, right, to another server that potentially in 3 months we're going to have to freaking leave again and probably pay to transfer.
That's the idea.
Right?
That makes sense, right? Yeah, it's a beautiful cycle.
But I don't know.
It's just another way to make a little more money.
They should have taken some accountability for this. I feel like they did not take any accountability. They blamed it all on the player base and misinformation that they put out there. And that's what annoys me, right? Is that I get it. You come out, like Bob said, you come out and you say, we effed up. We didn't realize that our server caps were this and this is going to cause a big issue here in Wrath.
Now, can you help us?
Please help us. We'll allow you to free transfer to not just these 2 chosen servers that we've decided are the best option, right? But are you doing anything to balance the chosen servers that you're asking us to go to? Or are you going to let those become...
No, they that's another thing. They did come out and they're looking to actually lock different faction sides, which I
like that.
On like Sulfurous. Yeah, it's what I asked for just back when they did the free transfers. I was like, it's so easy. Like once something gets to 60/40, you lock 60.
Yes.
It's that easy. And yes, somebody has to watch it. Although maybe they could like just set it like a number, but like either way, like that can really make something better. And like PvE servers, maybe you don't care about it, but like PvE servers aren't what's having the problems. There's no queues on any PvE servers. There's only queues on PvP servers.
I think just a little apology and then just explaining that and saying, hey, we're going to lock these servers. I think it would have been perfect. I think everybody would be happy right 100%. Now. I would probably actually have transferred to Aranicus if I read that post and they were like, oh, we're sorry, we messed this up. And it'll be bad all of Wrath. So just please help us out. I'd be like, bam, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people would have been, right? But the fact that they didn't acknowledge any of the struggles that people had been through to get to these mega servers and why they chose these mega servers was because of the poor decision making that they had made in the past.
Oh, some some people were like on the Oregon Trail. They're like they were on Scarum, and then they transferred to like Fairbanks or something, and then they were on like Globulus, and then they went to Fairlena. Like, it's just like, oh my god, they 4 transfers. It's great.
Yeah, and they're like, I'm done. I'm not going to do this. And I get it that people are saying that they're trying to get the visitors to transfer off. But listen, the visitors are already transferring off, right?
Yeah.
Like, visitors that don't have any claim on these servers are not spending 5 hours in a queue a day to get to play the game. The people that are staying are the people that have invested in the community. And they're like, my guild's here. I have other people here. I can make a group here. Like, I've lived the other side of it, and that sucks. And I'm not going to go try that again just because of this. And they're finding workarounds to get into the server.
Okay, so the gist of it is that they are at capacity. Servers cannot hold more than 15,000. Now, what I think is the actual bottleneck they can't get by is actually networking cards. So 15,000 people connecting to one server is actually pretty crazy. A pretty crazy number. Now, you'll say, well, hey, Amazon does it all the time. Blah, blah, blah does it all the time. Let me explain the difference between those servers and an MMO server.
They're designed to scale, right? And MMOs are not.
No,
right?
no.
Am I just guessing?
It's not scale. It's that Amazon has thousands of servers that are all Amazon. What they do is they are mirrored servers that replicate the exact data across all servers. And these servers are all over the country and can make it so you can connect to that easy. Whereas
content delivery network, right?
Yeah, whereas the Blizzard servers are literally one server or one virtual server in a like physical server stack.
Yeah.
So what this means is that the everybody connecting to it still have to connect to that one either virtual or regular server. I'm guessing they're using virtual servers, but that's what they have to do. So one network card, 15,000 connections to it is pretty huge, even if you're using the top end. So that's probably where they're coming into a problem. And the only fix for it at that point would be like, hey, you need to turn servers into 3 different servers. Like maybe one is Kalimdor, one is what's it called? Eastern Kingdoms. One is Outland.
See, I'd play that though. If you just lock me in Northrend and I just have to like log into a different server to go to Azeroth, I'd play that. That'd be fine.
But then the other problem that you come into is what happens when more than 15,000 are in Outland. All of a sudden, that's why world servers go down and stuff of that nature. So it is a really complicated issue that is exclusive to MMO gaming. And so that's where it that's where their retail sharding worked so well, because they would just offload a big bulk to another server entirely. And that's where it helped. So yeah. So, all right. So I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah. So
they're not going to be able to fix it is the TLDR, is that it's
basically,
a mess.
Yes.
Unless they do the retail sharding, which I guess they can't do, or.
No, I think they said that wouldn't even work, which I don't know.
I guess it's just, I'm pretty sure plan this out quite right.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure retail servers are quite a bit smaller than classic servers, and people might tell me I'm crazy, but come on, tell me a retail server that has 30K people on it like Benediction, 30K active raiders on it like Benediction.
Isn't Illidan normally around there? I'm not super in tune with
There's-
retail, but
yeah,
my
there's
understanding
no-
Illidan would be around there.
There's no data on it. Like we have
Just like Warcraft
IronForge.pro.
logs, right?
Yeah, Warcraft logs, but you'd have to actually search the logs. There's no site, like, at least as far as I know, that actually compiles that. So that's the information we have, and they say they cannot fix it without people moving. And they want people like us to stop giving the narrative that mega servers are the only place to prosper. And so I forgot to put it in the notes, but I pasted it in. There was a listener that wrote into us with a little story of what he did. And I wanted to put it out there, and anybody who is like willing to give Blizzard faith, maybe you should do this. And do you want me to read it, or do you want to read it, Mel?
I don't care. I can read it.
All right, go on.
It says, "Hey, Mel and Bob, I wanted to get your thoughts on the news about transfers and locking realms, etc. I did something that I've never done before. I took a leap of faith and actually trusted what Blizzard suggested and transferred off of Benediction about a week ago. I moved to Sulfuras, and I have to say that I couldn't be happier. Sure, it's not as populated as Benediction, but every day the server is gaining more and more refugees like myself. I can finally world PvP again. It's been so much fun. I wish this would have happened months ago. I look forward to your thoughts concerning the matter. Best of luck, guys. Keep up the amazing content." So I love that this person has had a great experience with transferring to Sulfuras, right? I think that...
Well, and hold on. There was the blue post that came out that says Sulfuras was
is
coming...
now locked, right?
Well, no, was coming to being full and was almost 50-50.
Yeah.
Like Horde Alliance.
Which,
I mean, it's great that people are having those good experiences, but does that guy not have a guild? Does that guy not play with any friends? Like, there's a lot of
Right.
question marks. I guess he's by himself, so it's fun. But did your guild follow you? Probably not. So
No, he specifically said that he doesn't have any guild ties, so it worked out for him. And Blizzard,
okay, yeah.
so
he didn't say that.
Well, we can guess that it must have been
I
the case.
swore that he said that.
I just read it, and I didn't read that.
It's definitely a better like solution for people that don't have like ties to a server
Yes.
already. Like they don't
100%.
have like a big friend group or anything like that. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's definitely a great solution for those people. But
So
I mean, it's
Um,
perfect for you. If you don't have anybody to play with, then definitely go there, because then you can find people to play with and not sit in a queue.
well, there's been a slew of blue posts, and I don't know which one, and all of them I have linked. But in one of them, they specifically said, these moves are targeting, are trying to target the people that don't have those types of connections. And I think that's
Right.
something people should like really look into. And also on top of that, hold on, where's it at? I have it here somewhere. Oh no.
I feel like I agree that it's targeting those people, but my biggest problem here is that we should never have gotten here in the first place. Like, if you knew what your server cap was, why did you let it grow 3 times bigger than it could have been?
And
right?
we've already talked about that. We know it is their fault whether they are going to admit it or not. What we're looking for is ways that we can improve the situation at this point, because
That's fine. Yes, if you don't have any ties to Benediction, please transfer off.
Right, I don't have any ties to Benediction. I just like to log into the queue, and then once I get done with the queue, I just like log out again. It's the fun. It's my daily pastime on Benediction.
Well, I
don't have
feel
a
like
guild or
the
anything,
queue
though.
also promotes, like we've talked about this before, it promotes this degenerate behavior where you never
Yes.
log off, right? Where it's like It's like, oh, there's a queue. I'm going to log in at 10 a.m. in the morning, and I'm not going to log out all night because I might want to play.
Worse.
Like,
I know so many people that are using like remote desktop right now, so they can like queue early or like stay logged in all day and like move around, log out, relog back in, stuff like that. So like the queues are probably like, I don't know, 50% longer than they should be, just because everybody's like worried that there is a queue. So now they're queuing earlier or like logging in and just trying to not AFK the whole time earlier. And so it just makes it like so unplayable once there's like any amount of queue, basically, that's more than like 15 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. Anything longer than 15 minutes and people are like, okay, I gotta be in WoW all day long. And it's not like they're playing WoW all day long. They're just moving, not becoming AFK, and trying to stay logged in so that when they want to play, they can, right?
Yep, exactly.
And you can't solve that problem, right? Because not everybody's going to not do it because they want to play. Yeah. They want to enjoy the game.
On Grobulus right now, if you have a raid at 6:30, you have to be in the queue by like 2:30 or you're not going to make your raid. Like,
oh my God.
That's how it is right now.
Crap. I'm trying to find the new changes. So for some reason, I don't have it in the notes here, but did you guys see all of the changes they made to the free transfers? God, I can't find it now. This is driving me nuts.
What do you mean?
Like with Tyrannicus or?
For any free transfer. Okay, so I'll do it off the top of my head. I am sorry, guys, if I miss one of the stipulations that changed, but anybody taking a free transfer from one of the mega servers, there's no longer a gold cap.
Wow.
You can take whatever gold you want. There is no longer a 3-month no transfer stipulation put on. So if you transfer in a month, you'll be eligible, or in a day, you'll be eligible to move back. That would be via paid transfer. But before, when you would transfer, it would give a 3-month, 90-day lock where you couldn't do it again. God, I wish Cappy was in the chat.
So if that's the case, I do feel like I appreciate this from Blizzard because they're actually listening to the fact that the reason that these free transfers weren't appealing to us, right, is that, like we talked about earlier, sure, I can go transfer, and then if that server dies, now I have to pay to transfer back to a mega server, right? And I think that this is addressing that fact and trying to get more people to say, like, okay, fine, I'll take a chance on you, Blizzard. Like, I'll give you a shot again, but I won't have to pay if I need to transfer back to something else. But I also think locking benediction and allowing those transfer unrestrictions, people are still going to be nervous, right? They're going to be like, well,
absolutely,
not enough people take it. Am I still going to have an option for something later, you know?
Yeah, they don't think they're going to be able to come back in the future. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's probably what needs to happen, right? Like, they need to be way more proactive about like locking down these servers so this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't find it now because there was something else that was on top of it. It's killing me. But yeah, basically they just took off the like crazy stipulations that make people be like, well, I don't want to lose all of my gold. Like, it just, I don't know how I feel about it.
Because like with the Fairbanks situation, that's exactly what they did. Like for the free transfers, they're like no gold cap, stuff like that. So they've been doing that for a while, trying to make it more appealing.
Well, yeah, Well, I guess, yeah.
I'm going to have to head out soon, but I have one thing to leave you with here, which is the solution to all of our server issues. You may not like it. Bob may be a purist here. Mel may like this, and I don't think Subtle's going to like it. It's 2 words, cross-realm, okay? I can play anywhere, but I can raid with you, Subtle, and I can raid with Mel and Bob, wherever you are. I can do arenas with you. I can do raids. And now I don't even care where I am. I can go anywhere. And I could be on Bloodsail Buccaneers, and I can do arenas with Mirror or somebody, and it's no problem at all. That's the solution. They can do it. They've actually done it in the PTR and TBC. They did it. They had everything cross-realm battlegrounds. They were able to do it, and they turned it off. So I don't know how much work it would take, but it seems like the solution.
That is something I would have been like super against before, like early in Classic, but
all the purists would be.
At this point, now that we have these like mega servers where like they're so big, like you don't even really recognize people the majority of the time, but you're like kind of forced to be on these servers because they're your best bet of like being on a server that isn't just gonna die. And now that we have like hardcore layering and everything, like it doesn't feel like Classic anymore. Like it's not like, oh, somebody's ganking in BRM. It's like, oh, which BRM? There's 7 layers.
Which layer?
Like, there's 7 BRMs. So like I feel like we're already at that point where like the world's already been like destroyed. Like the cool factor of like everybody's within the same world together. They already destroyed that like week 1 of Classic. So now I'm totally open to cross server because I feel like the thing I liked about like not having cross realm, they already ruined that. So I'm 100% open to it now.
I agree. I think that it's very much we had an idealistic world.
Yes.
That ended a long time ago.
It ended now, 2019.
And now it's like, okay, how can I just most effectively play with the people that I want to play with? And the only thing that cross realm gets you is people not paying for transfers from servers, but it also gets you to maintain a lot of your current people who are not going to maintain right now, right? Like locking Benediction is the largest server, and well, one of the largest servers, and everybody on Benediction, I'm
offline.
sure.
Yes, I'm going to use this opportunity to sneak into Benediction while everybody's like resetting.
Yeah, good luck.
No,
but I think it's everything everybody on Benediction, I'd say 60% of people have somebody that they want to come back and play with them for Wrath, right? Guess who's not going to come back and wait in a 5-hour queue? And guess what? Now they can't even come back and play on Benediction. And not everybody is going to transfer to another server so that they can play with their friends, right?
Yeah.
So they're limiting themselves there. I'm not saying that locking Benediction was a bad idea, because it was the only idea that we could have had, right? Like I'm glad that they did that. Honestly, what if they just said, hey, if you haven't logged in to this character in 6 months, you get moved off of Benediction. Like before Wrath came out, I feel like you get moved off, and then when you come back in, you get to choose a server that you go to, and maybe Benediction's locked.
That would have helped a lot. If everyone inactive was moved off, if they hadn't been sub for like 3 months, then they might have been pretty mad when they came back.
Get out of here. Get out of here. I don't care.
That is the big issue. There was no proactivity here. They could have fixed this 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm
giving them ideas for the future.
Unfortunately, I'm with you too, Jerome. Give us sharding. I've missed world PvP. Like Benediction has lame PvP. Like you'll have a level 70 rogue kill your level 30 alt. Like,
oh yeah, that happens to me all the time.
Over and over and over again.
The best part of Benediction is all the 70 horde rogues that go around ganking levelers.
Yeah, I mean, like that's not PvP. That's dumb.
That's not world PvP.
But
kind of fun.
But I would take sharding at this point, and it would be a way for me. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to develop those cool rivalries with different hordes like we did back in the day, but that ship has sailed. So I would take just a little bit of interaction.
Connections. Yeah, and I've made a lot of connections with people that are on different servers, and I do kind of want to play with them. Not kind of, I do want to play with them.
I can
Only if
take it
they're
or leave
aligned.
it. I mean, I could play with them, but you know.
Yeah, you know, like some of them. I mean, you know, Jerome, I don't know if I'm.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, you've
said
seen
some
my
stories
3-hour
about his-
SSCs.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
don't join those, seriously.
But
All right, well, we're going to let Jerome head out. Jerome, tell everybody where they can find you.
Okay, so I stream every night, 6 p.m. Eastern, NoHitJerome, and also doing a lot of YouTube now. So that's also the same, NoHitJerome. But you should really go follow up Blazing Bob, Mel Arena, and SubtleFW, and go watch Subtle on YouTube. He does all sorts of crazy, awesome stuff, and I'm sure that will continue in Wrath with like crazy tanking stuff. Probably solo tank Nax, even maybe impossible. I'll say it's impossible, so you go do it. So yeah, it's impossible.
I'll do it. I'll make it happen.
All over to that. And I always have so much fun here, and I need to support you guys more because it's awesome what you do for the community. So thank you so much, and
Thanks,
good luck with
Jerome.
Subtle. They've got some really good stuff coming up in the show, so do not leave them. They have so much more.
All right, man. Take it easy, brother.
always
Thanks,
a
guys.
pleasure.
It was good to meet you, dude.
Yeah, great to meet you.
We just quickly fix the stream here. Yep. We just need to change NoHitJerome here to Subtle.
I'm way more salty this episode than I feel like I've ever been.
There's a lot.
Listen, their
going on
passive
right now.
aggressiveness was like, it really just took
Alright.
me over the edge.
Subtle, you are also a rogue, so I'm leaving you as rogue right now.
Pally, Prot Warrior, dude.
Yep,
I'm,
yep.
I'm all over the place now.
No
you,
priest?
You were a pally for the
Nah.
first part of the show,
Ah.
and now you're a rogue. So we're just,
I'm always
diversity.
evolving. Always evolving.
All right. So now the very last, we already hit the next one earlier. So the very last piece of news is the Scourge invasion went live a little earlier than expected. And the best part was the blue post being like, yeah, it surprised us too.
I feel like that kind of just like encapsulates like modern Blizzard. It's like, oh, this just happened.
Whoops.
All right.
Oh, look at that. Imagine that.
Like, come on, guys.
But I'm not complaining because I got my Arcanite Ripper yesterday instead of this coming Tuesday. So, and now I can help others get theirs, for an extra week. So that's cool. Like that part's cool. You know what's not cool? So if anybody remembers this event from Classic, it was kind of a pain in the ass. You're flying around all over the place. You have to fight to tag different nodes. It's a real big pain in the ass, right? Like you're just traveling all over the place. Well, last night we found out it's even more of a pain in the ass on servers like Benediction because your map will show you that there's an invasion. And there is one there, but it just might not be on your lair. It's a huge whoops, and it's been rough for us, dude. It's been really rough.
I'm like, I have walked all around this zone and there is no crystals here. Like, what is happening? And yeah, it was on layer 5, not on layer 2.
Yep, and we didn't have anybody on layer 5 to bring us to layer 5. So not only are you trying to get to the areas, now you have to find a way to get to the layer that is specifically on. And I feel like the mega servers, they should make it on every layer. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, probably, because I mean it's a limited time event. You got lots of new players returning right now. The layering system isn't super intuitive for new people coming back, and so it's kind of weird because you have to have an add-on. As far as I know, there's no way to just see in the default game what layer you're even on. So you have to have an add-on to figure out what layer you're on. Then you have to network with your guild, who's on this layer, who's on that layer. So I don't know. I feel like it creates a pretty big barrier of entry for newer people coming back for sure.
Yeah, if you have Nova World buffs, you can see what layer you're on, and you can also see what layer everybody in your guild is on, which is great. Right. I didn't hear you come through. Did you come through there?
Sorry. Yeah, what I said was only if they have Nova World buffs active. That's the only way you can actually see what layer they're on. And people are using minimal add-ons at the moment with the different server lag and everything, trying to find out what they're doing. So people have turned Nova off. At least for our guild, we'll have 25 on, but I can only see 3 people actually using Nova. So
my question is like, is there no way to, when I look at my mini map, for it to just show me my layer? You know what I mean? Like, if there's not something in my layer, can it just not show?
Or just make it so if there's a Scourge thing, it's on every layer.
Nope, I think that's way too complicated, right? Because then they could destroy it on one layer, and then what? It just re-pops up. So then you just like.
Yeah. But I mean, what does it hurt?
At different times, right? So it'll get desynced either way. So.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's a limited time event. I don't think it's like that big of a deal if they actually like increase how often they're spawning and stuff. Well,
and the last time it was extremely important for, you know, everybody to get those Scourge stones, the weapon stones. I don't know how important that is now. At least for my rogue, I know for a fact it's not going to be better than the like poisons that are in Wrath of the Lich King. Like poisons are going to win out regardless. But I feel like my warrior could really use those stones if they're upgraded to the new stats. But I don't know, you know.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure. I know last time for sure it was a big deal, but
yeah, it was a huge
rolling with
deal.
The Sunwell or the Isle like daily one, like the attack power proc when you're in Sunwell.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I need to get some of those on my rogue. I didn't even think about that. I could have pumped even more.
I'm not sure if they're actually better than poisons or not, because like poisons are insane now.
Yeah, no, they've definitely. But I should have gotten them for my warrior, definitely. Yeah, they definitely better on the warrior.
Incredible for sure. Like since we're way more attack power based now.
Oh. Well, yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. Did you do anything else as far as the Scourge invasion? Like there are quite a bit of extra bosses. Like my level 29 priest twink needs to go to SFK next week because there's a pair of pants that's the best twink pants that drops from a guy that's only available now in Shadow of Fang Keep.
That's really cool. I don't actually know that.
Yeah, they're throughout. There's like a good 10 of them throughout all the different dungeons.
Yeah, like Strat, Skolo, I think, has new ones too.
Yeah.
Like anything with like undead, I guess. But yeah, I haven't really gotten too much into it yet. I was just like trying to do the 10 risk solo. That's about all I've really done in like the Scourge invasion stuff at the moment.
Have you had any luck with different Scourge spawns? Like we luckily ran into one. The first one we went to last night after we got my Arcanite Ripper, we went to Blasted Lands, and Mel is just a boss at Shadow Word Death, you know, grabbing the targets.
Fuck yeah, it's the best.
And so we got some, and then we're like, oh, okay, well, they're up everywhere else. Let's go. And we checked winter, spring. 4 of us split up, looked all through the map. We're like, oh, it's not here. Then we went to Ashara, nothing there. Then we went to Tannerus, nothing there. And then that's when we realized an hour and a half later, oh, they're on different layers. Then we swapped layers looking for them. Still
You'd
couldn't
think
find
the
them.
first time we went to a place and there was none there that we would have said, hey, something's off. But no, it took us 4 places. Fine.
Damn. So I haven't really done that stuff at all yet. Is that through the like Nova UI that it's saying that, or like the default Blizzard UI that's saying like the
No,
Okay,
notifications
so-
are up?
I don't
So
know,
okay, so
actually.
the default UI shows it when you look at the world map. So
Does it,
you'll
though? Are you sure
Yes,
that it's a default UI?
I'm positive the little purple skull is there. And I always thought it was weird. I was like, well, the skulls just are always staying up. Like they'll disappear for a second, but they're up. It's because they're spun up on a different layer than after that. And so like you're going to be like searching. It was already a pain to get all over Azeroth to find these, but now it's just an extreme headache. You know, when we did it before, we were maybe on 2 layers. So like it wasn't that big of a deal, but now, and everybody had Nova. So like you could actually switch layers pretty easily. Now the only reason to have Nova is for knowing what layer you're on. And like you could even have Nova instance tracker separate. So like people are still using it, but they're not using Nova, and it's a real big bummer.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they fix that, because that's super frustrating. But it's also like probably not worth their time, right? For
Yeah.
a limited event. Like they have so much on their plate right now. Like,
Yeah, I'd rather,
definitely down
honestly,
there.
like in the priority of things, like this is the last on my priority list, right?
100%.
Like,
Yeah. Like I'll
Like-
take a little bit of annoyance of like more things and Wrath or fixed, right?
right. Like fix the queues, make sure that I can log in when I, want to do Wrath, but this is an annoyance and it's fine. We'll figure it out. But I don't know why Bob left right before we did the next section.
Well, because
Poor timing.
because I didn't want to leave after we started the interview. So with that said, let's move into
Bobby, we need to have a talk about this World of Warcraft Classic. Do I look like I know what a WoW token is?
All right. So in this week's discussion, we are going to get to know Subtle a little bit better. So let's start out by your WoW background. When did you start playing WoW, the original?
So I actually started before the game even came out. It started in the stress test. That was, I think it was in like September.
No.
Oh,
original 2004. Like when did you?
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
the,
really?
Stress test for vanilla WoW. Yeah.
Oh, wow, nice. Okay.
So that was like the September. That I think that was in September, and then vanilla launched in like late November or something like that. Yeah, so they did the stress test to like make sure the servers could handle everybody, and I mean, they tried, but on launch, like the servers were pretty bad anyway, but they made an effort. Yeah, so in the vanilla stress test in 2004, I started on like a priest, and like back when Enter Fire gave you attack power, and it was a wild time. But
a different game for sure.
Yeah. And I had come from Ragnarok Online, and priests were like super OP in that game. So I was like, oh, they got priests in this game too. All right, let's try that.
That's an MMO.
Yeah, that's an old one.
I've not heard that. That's so like I've heard everybody like I came from Star Wars Galaxies. I came from Ultima Online. I came from EverQuest. I've not heard Ragnarok Online.
Yeah, I was like 13 at the time. I think I started playing Ragnarok when I was like 10 or 11, something like that. But that was a game changer for sure. Got me into MMOs. Wow. I guess you can call it an MMO. I mean, everybody's like in the same world and everything, but it was definitely like,
yeah, it was
OG,
more like
OG.
like I didn't play it, but was it more like Guild Wars, like where you're kind of like instanced, like you're kind of like, or kind of like Diablo, where like you're like grouping up and then you're instanced in together, but like there's a hub.
Everybody was in the same world, but like each zone you did have to take like a loading screen to get to the next one, but it was still just one world. So I mean, I think it was technically an MMO, but one of the very early ones.
Wow.
But yeah, so after playing Priest on that, it was like super OP, so I picked it on Classic, but I didn't really like it, or Vanilla.
Come on, you didn't like Priest?
No, I wasn't really into it. So I started playing Shaman, and then like when
you were a dirty horde.
Yeah. So I started, then Vanilla launched after that. I played Shaman, and then as I was leveling my Shaman, kept seeing these undead rogues. I was like, those look really cool. And so then I started leveling one as an alt, like as I was leveling the Shaman too. And I mean, back then it took people like months to get to 60. Like nobody was like as hardcore as they are now.
Oh yeah, it took forever.
Well, we didn't have all the YouTube videos to show us how to get to level 60 quickly.
Yeah, there were very few. I mean, there was like that one warrior during like the beta. He like put out the video what everybody thought was it Ramaladni or Indalmar, and they made a bunch of items like after him, but it was like his name backwards. But everybody on the beta for Vanilla thought warriors were like complete shit, and then he came out with this YouTube video, like probably one of the first people to ever post like a WoW YouTube video, and he was like killing everything like insanely quick. I think it was called like warrior kill rate or something like that, and like he showed like how OP warriors actually were, and then they like nerfed them. Everybody was mad at him for that, but yeah, I think he was probably the first like WoW YouTuber back in the day.
Well, and like everybody was like confused, like when Vanilla came out, a lot of people didn't actually understand the different roles, tank, heal, DPS, and like it was very weird, and the itemization was very weird for low level classes, and the talents weren't put out well. I mean, really, like there wasn't really a whole lot of tanks. Like even Shammies could tank initially in Vanilla. Like there was a lot of talents like catered towards them tanking. They were just really bad at it. Like it was a really weird time where people just didn't know. Like, I mean, I, as a mage on my first character, was using a sword that had agi because I thought like, well, I want to be a battle mage, you know, like,
right.
So like everybody was just kind of confused about how the game worked and didn't understand it. So everything was really slow and rough.
Yeah, mages were like stacking intellect back then. Like people didn't know spell power was good, and then like that like completely shifted the meta when mages like
they didn't even have spell power.
Did they not initially? I thought they had some.
Spell power just came in
taking it because they didn't know it was good.
The gear, the itemization, spell power did not exist until later in Vanilla. It was not an actual stat. It was a stat they had to actually add in.
See, even Blizzard devs didn't know that.
Yeah, I was playing like melee classes, so I was like early on, so I wasn't really paying attention too much to that. Like I was playing the enhancement shaman and rogue. So
yeah, I mean it was a pretty early change, like pre Molten Core, but Molten Core didn't come out super early after launch. I mean, I remember I was level 60 and it had taken me months to get level 60, and I was doing the PvP stuff in Torren Mill, and Molten Core still wasn't even out at that point. And it had, I
mean, was it out when did I start? Did I start in Vanilla?
Yeah, you started like right when Molten Core was like releasing. And yeah, because like there were so, like, at least on our server, PvP wise, Burning Legion, like there were so many people that just weren't like they talked about Molten Core coming out, and they're like, well, I don't care about that. I want a PvP. This is World of Warcraft. Like, I want a PvP server. I came to PvP. You know, like, it was a very weird time for a lot of us. But yeah, so okay, so you started, and then like, how long did you play for? Did you like? Are you still a retail player at times?
So like MOP was like the furthest I played like a lot. So like in vanilla, I played pretty hardcore. I was in like the best guild on my server. We got up to 4 horsemen in Nax in vanilla, but then TBC launched before we could clear it. So we were like still progging on that when TBC launched. But
were you like 10? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah, because you look pretty young.
I'm 31. I was like, at the end of vanilla, I think I was like 15. So
Squeaker, subtle.
I had a deep enough voice
guys,
though,
that
nobody knew I was 15. So
see, I was gonna say, like, there was like a law against squeakers and guilds. Like, you know, like if they sounded young, people were very hesitant.
No,
we literally
like
kicked them
13
like
or 14.
Yeah,
I had a deep voice, so I was good.
We wouldn't even let anybody under 18 in the guild, and I'm sure we probably had them there, but they definitely never talked on Ventrilo. Did you do any raids in original?
He just
vanilla?
said that he like got to 4 horsemen and Nax.
No shit.
Yeah, we made it to 4 horsemen. We were the furthest progressed guild on our server. There were maybe 1 or 2 alliance guilds, I think, that also made it to 4 horsemen.
Do you remember what server you were on?
Yeah, Frostwolf was the server we were on. And actually,
FW.
Yeah, and I actually was able to find a lot of the same people from Frostwolf, and our current guild has a lot of the people I played with back in the day, which is really
It's so crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah, so like we actually killed, it was like I believe 4 bosses in Nax, but we were dealing constantly with everybody quitting and then us having to run Molten Core, BWL, everything. We actually didn't run AQ much to try to gear like new people up. Like we were just running what we do was, you know, like fast, and like we just
AQ was rough.
Yeah, and we just got tired of it. Like, and that's basically the guild. Like, they announced TBC, and we're like, all right, fuck it. We don't really need to mess with this. We've been beating our head against the wall. We had 3 or 4 new people every week. Like, and it was just like trying to explain it to them, and it was an absolute slog. But that's amazing that you actually made it that far. Like,
yeah, since we were like the top guild on Horde, like we were the ones poaching all the 4-piece tier 3 warriors from other guilds. So
nice.
That's where it got like really tough to do next, was because if you weren't the best guild, then you were losing all your warriors to the better guilds, and so it really made it hard for a lot of people to get through 4 horsemen.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I mean, AQ40 was like so rough that I forget the name of the guild, but they were like one of the top guilds in the world, and they like deleted a file in their WoW folder to like remove the floor at Scarum, so they could fall through the floor and go straight to Cthulhu.
Yep, they got banned for
got like I think it was like 8-year bans or 10-year bans. Like several years back, they all got unbanned. It was during like MOP or something like that they all finally got unbanned from what they did in vanilla WoW.
Yeah, they were obviously doing like, you know, there's one thing to take advantage of an exploit, like for instance, like standing in the one spot on the Hagen dance, you know, where you don't get hit. Like that's small. What they were doing was egregious and obviously not okay. They were like,
but 8 years? Like, come on.
I mean, it should have just been a permanent ban. Like, it should have just been.
Yeah, I mean,
8 years is pretty much a permanent ban.
Yeah, so,
right?
So at the time they said it was a permanent ban, but whoever like filled in the ban probably just pressed like random buttons, you know, for like number of like days banned or whatever. So then it just ended up being some like random amount of years. Yeah.
Yeah, Negatar says it was overrated. Was the guild?
Overrated, yes. That
they
sounds
are
familiar.
It is definitely one of the historic things in Classic. And the only way Blizzard noticed them is they were like, wait a second. Guild with the most Cthulhu kills haven't killed any other boss. What the hell? And they're like,
wait a minute.
we gotta check this out. Yeah, so
that was back in the days when like GMs like would go in and just like watch the top guilds like do the raids, like
right, and they'd like chat people, right? Like,
yeah. They would have their little Blizzard text by their name and everything.
Yeah. Like, has anybody chatted with a Blizzard tech?
Okay, so on the beta, briefly.
Oh,
so
yeah?
when they were doing the winter grasp test, there was actually a dude with a like Blizzard tag in the chat.
Okay.
But the winter grasp test was an absolute nightmare because like they scheduled this time for it. Everybody got in. Blizzard dude was like talking to everybody, like letting us know, like, oh, okay, it's gonna start in 5 minutes or whatever. And then we get into the game. Nobody's like gaining rank in winter grasp, which is what allows you to like get the vehicles and actually do the BG.
You're like, this is great.
And was that?
You're like, this is great. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like just unplayable. So then the Blizzard dude was like, all right, we know about the bug. And the worst part of this was this bug had been reported for the week leading up to this test, and it hadn't been fixed. So I don't know how they did this test with that many reports saying that this bug was in. But then the dude's like, okay, we're taking it down. We're doing a hot fix, and it'll be good to go. We'll have a new game up. So they get the new game up, still not fixed. And then Blizzard dude just completely stops communicating with everybody. And
silence.
And everybody's like, is the test still happening? What's going on here? And nobody from Blizzard ever said anything, and people just slowly logged off, and I guess the test was over.
Yeah, I mean, they tested it. It didn't work.
Yeah.
They were like, okay.
Well, like the week leading up, we already knew it didn't work. So like, because they had a patch on like that Tuesday, so I just figured like, oh yeah, they obviously fixed that because they scheduled like a test like after like they've had a week of reporting of this bug and they patched it. We're good to go. No.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure that it was a bug, right? They were like, we've had a lot of people acknowledge this is a bug. Let's confirm the bugginess of this. Okay, now we've confirmed. Thank you. Goodbye.
I will say, talking on the Blizzard talking to people, during the Season of Mastery beta, there were a lot of Blizzard GMs that showed up at different streamers' raids and actually reset encounters for them to try it again with different different settings and stuff when they were trying to do all the upgraded Molten Core bosses and all of that.
That's great. I wish they would do that more.
Yeah, but all right, so why did you come back to Classic, and when did you come back to Classic?
So I came back to Classic because this was like the part of the game I actually enjoyed. Like I said before, like I quit after like MOP. That was like kind of like I had a ton of fun in MOP. I think I'm one of the few who actually really enjoyed Kata as well. And then of course I liked Vanilla, I liked TBC, Wrath. So I was like totally on board with them resetting everything, going back to the versions of the game that I really liked. And our server Frostwolf, we actually had a Facebook group that had been made like years before. Like everybody from the server had like been invited to it and stuff. And so I made a post on there like, hey, I'm putting together a guild. Like it would be cool if like we got as many Frostwolf people in here as we could. And I think we got like 200-ish that like ended up coming like from our old server back in the day. Like at that point, it
wait, you had to create a Facebook group like way later on, right? Because Facebook, even when I was in college, was purely college. Like you had to have a college email address.
Yeah, it was. I feel like it might have been like Wrath or Kata kind of time that it was created, and then like people still had like connections with some people who had like quit the game, but like through various channels, like people got people into it, even if they weren't at that time still playing the game.
Got it.
Yeah, it ended up getting pretty big. I think the Facebook group had like maybe 400, 500 people that all played on that server together back in the day. But yeah, so I put the word out. We got a bunch of people from Frostwolf all on the same server. A lot of them ended up quitting because Fairbanks had crazy queues like we do now early on in Classic. They were actually even worse, like literally like 8-hour queues sometimes. So,
but Layers fixed it. Just not anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so that was really cool. Got like the full nostalgic experience, you know, got to go back to Classic with many of the same people I had like played it with, like at that point, like 16 years prior. And that was really awesome. So I had a great experience with that. And then, yeah, so for me, like in TBC, I rated like really hardcore. And our guild fell apart like halfway through Sunwell, so I was really pumped to get back into TBC and kind of finish what I started. Finally finished Sunwell. And then in Wrath, I did like the very beginning, like the next stuff. I cleared it like once and then quit because I was like, this was the best raid I ever did back then. And then they like made it so bad, and so
like not super easy.
Yeah, so like that made me quit because I was like, okay, they turned like my favorite raid into like the worst raid, and so I quit for a while. Then all my friends told me like, oh, this new raid Ulduar, it's like the best raid they've ever made. And so at the very end, I think I started playing again like literally week 1 at TOGC, like after Ulduar, so I didn't get to experience it as like current content. So that's what I'm really looking forward to this time, is like doing Ulduar while it's current. And so then I came back for TOGC, ICC, had a blast, and definitely looking forward to doing those again. Then then in Kata, I was like really into Arena early on. And then I got to like rank 5 and 3v3 on BG9, rank 1 and 2v2 on my Rogue. And then I like quit that because the games were like way too long. Like all our 2v2 games were like 25 to 30 minutes long. And it was like, you only win when somebody like falls asleep and like makes a mistake because they're bored kind of thing. And then played a lot of MOP. And yeah, that was like basically the end of my retail. Like I played all the expansions a little bit, but it was like 1 week, 1 month kind of thing.
Just checking them out.
Yeah. So definitely, I'm totally down to do Classic all the way through MOP if they decide to do that.
Yeah. Bob, you're muted, by the way.
I'm just hoping they change a little bit going through. Like, I did not like the change in, like, I love the like, we found Revenge Spec. I'd never seen Revenge Spec ever before. That's the beauty of talent trees, and like the beauty of modern gaming is we can find these new fucking broken things, and I love that. Like, I love it.
When did it change, though? It didn't change in Kata.
Kata, they reduced, and then I don't know if it was end of Kata or the next expansion, but they got rid of talent trees completely, and it turned into like a single player game. I don't know, choosing.
And MOP, it was like the 3 choices per tier kind of thing.
Yeah, it was really dumbed down. So there was obvious specs that you were going to take at that point. So, but yeah, I'm hoping they do something a little different there. But what classes do you play, like, for the most part?
Right now, like Prop Valley is my number 1. Playing a lot of Prop Warrior now that we're getting into Wrath. It gets so much more fun than like TBC. And I'm dusting off the Rogue for sure. Like 90% of my time I've played WoW, I've like always mained a Rogue. So
Same.
TBC was kind of like a TBC Classic was kind of a new thing for me. I actually only made the prop alley so I would have a raid spot as a Wrath prop alley because like they get so fun. But then I ended up actually loving TBC prop alley. But Wrath is like just so good for like any tank, really, any class, honestly.
The only mistake I've made in Classic so far is getting on the Warlock bandwagon in TBC. Boy, that was a huge mistake. But playing Warrior in Vanilla was a great idea. Like, I was gonna just come back as Rogue because it's what I played all basically through. I played a little bit of PvP lock in the early parts of TBC, but like Rogue's always been what I played, and I was like, everybody's talking about this masterclass Warrior. I'm gonna give it a shot. And it was definitely a good decision. Playing the lock in TBC was a bad decision and really led to me getting really burnt out on raids and really almost hating raid nights. You know, like it was a bad move. But
yeah, if I had known like Fury Prot was actually like a meta thing going into Classic, I definitely would have started as a Warrior main. I ended up starting as a Rogue main and then switching to Warrior like later on because I was like, Warriors can just do the same thing Rogues can, except they can also tank. So like, why would I play a Rogue right now? So
well, without dual spec, Rogues definitely had it way better than Warriors in Vanilla if they liked PvP, because it sucked ass playing as Fury in PvP. You're literally a Rogue with nothing else. You're just literally the damage of a Rogue with nothing, like no stealth, no, like nothing you could actually do to like save your ass. Like, you know, that's what sucked. And like, you had an awesome spec in arms that you'd have to pay 50 gold a pop to like switch to. And Rogues could get away in raid with doing really good DPS and having really good time in BGs with the same spec. Like, it wasn't optimal for PvE, but it was definitely comparable for PvE, you know? That's the other part that was a bummer.
Honestly, like, I didn't really want PvP on my Rogue that much in Classic because, like, all the things that I liked about Rogue PvP kind of weren't there. Like, when you switch targets, you lost all your combo points. So, like, off gouging and off kicking, that kind of stuff. I mean, for off gouging, it doesn't really matter. But for, like, off kicking, like, if you just change target to kick something, like,
there was a
macro.
Well, there was a macro I think you could use, and if you use it correctly, you're about 50-50 to like lose your combo points.
I tried a lot of macros, none of them worked, but yeah, 50-50 is still not good enough for me. But and then like the chunk energy takes, you know, like 20 at a time, have to wait 2 seconds. That feels pretty clunky.
It was definitely weird. Like, and then like I was a little bit ignorant about kicks because like I was remembering Wrath of the Lich King, so I bitched about Rogues having like being able to kick easier than Warriors, but it wasn't until now Wrath that kick got taken off of the global cooldown. So like, now is actually what I was bitching about in Classic, even though it felt a little easier for the Rogues to still kick. Like, I don't know what it was, but like,
it's the 1 second GCD. Rogues have an inherent 1 second GCD, while everybody else has 1.5 seconds. So
okay, could, like, so I was a little bit right.
Stuff. Yeah, and also just like Rogues, you're limited by your energy, so like you have downtime in your rotation, like. When you're like a Warrior in PvP and you're being attacked, you have like plenty of rage and stuff. Like usually you have something to do like every GCD or close to it. So there's like an opportunity cost to like sitting off GCD so you can like get that kick and stuff. But
yeah, I mean, I do like that aspect of a Rogue though, like to pool energy, like as say assassination. You would like before you end here in Wrath, before you in Venom, you want to pool your energy a bit so that you can get so that when you do in Venom, you can get 2 mutilate pops with the Venom buff. Like those types of things are, I think, what's like what separates like really good players from the bad players, which is something we're starting to get into here in Wrath. Is now you're going to really see a difference between the different specs, and it's going to be vast,
100%.
which is really cool.
Yeah, also within Venom, like you want to make sure you're not like clipping your buff time on a previous Envenom, so that you're not wasting like 2 seconds of one Envenom by envenoming too early, that kind of stuff. So
yep,
I feel like you guys are talking like a foreign language here, but
we're
keep going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you play a healer, which is a completely different type of game. Like for DPS, like you're working on like the best ways to DPS, whereas a healer, you're like playing a little more of a whack-a-mole game. So it's definitely a different type of game.
Don't compare my job to whack-a-mole.
I mean,
asshole.
It kind of is whack-a-mole, right? And I like it. Like I've been having a blast on my Twink, and I'm getting ready to do some AV with my level 70 priests. So I like whack-a-mole. It's
okay.
It's just a different type of thing. Like it's a completely different.
Listen, this is why I'm on the pod, so that I can, talk about the healer perspective.
Gotta balance it out.
Yeah. Listen, yeah, we all talk about, this is so much fun, it's so easy, but our healers suck. No, you suck. That's why your healers can heal you. Get out of here.
Standing in poison clouds, LOSing.
Yeah.
They're like, why did I die?
If you're a warrior and you're a DPS or even a pally DPS, if you don't have a macro to throw your sword board on, you're doing it wrong.
Definitely.
Your
Facts.
healer.
Yeah, most of the time I die, it's my fault. We have great healers in our guild. So
Yeah, and then rogues, like if you take aggro, like evasion quickly. Or
vanish. Yeah, so many options.
I didn't mention this. Oh my god!
Any of your buttons, just mash your keyboard. You will probably survive.
I didn't mention this earlier, and I'm sorry. I'm going to mention it now just because I have to. So, I did the first raid I did on my rogue was Mount Hyjal this week, and they were trying to fill it, so I asked the guild, and a bunch of people from the guild jumped into this Mount Hyjal, and one of them was Yip on his new paladin. I guess he's not that new now, but he was our tank. And the first boss in Mount Hyjal comes out. I'm super worried about my rotation, like how I'm going to do everything. I'm like trying to like look good and try to do a lot of DPS. We pull rage. I fucking am number 2 DPS when we get done, and I'm just like, all I'm looking at is my rotation. Wasn't checking threat, nothing. I was just like trying to like do good, right? We get done. Yip goes, Bob, you fucking suck. And I'm in not in raid chat, but in guild chat. I was like, oh god, what did I do? He goes, you take the entire fucking boss. I was like, what? And then iPod, who's in there as a healer, goes, yeah, dude, I was just healing you the entire time. You take the boss. I was like, I didn't even realize I take the boss. And luckily, I accidentally hit the wrong button, evasion, during fighting. And that's probably why I survived, but it was so short that I taked the entire boss and didn't even realize it because I was trying to work on my rotation, and it was hilarious.
Wow.
I was a rogue and just take the entire boss, like didn't even realize that he was on me. That's so horrible.
That's some next level tunnel vision,
Right?
Yeah, I was like, sorry. I remembered to vanish early on every boss after that, like, and watch the threat meter.
Your healer thanks you.
Oh, dude, iPod was like, dude, you really were fine.
Yeah, it's crazy how little damage everything does now.
Yeah, well, and like I've talked to some other people in chat, they were like, well, rage hits like a wet noodle, so I guess like It was just happened that I could do that, but it was funny that I tanked and didn't even know. All right, sorry. All right.
Yeah, a lot of pallies were parsing on rage, like prop pallies, like not even going for crit cap or anything like that, because like it just didn't matter. He didn't do anything even before the nerfs.
Didn't do anything.
All right, so Horde or Alliance?
Played Horde most of my time in WoW. Wrath, I was mostly Alliance though. My guild had just died by the time I started playing again, and I knew a bunch of people on the Alliance side, so I joined them for the rest of Wrath.
So what are you now going into Wrath?
Answer for the Horde or
for the Alliance.
I mean, I'm a Horde all the way these days.
Nah. All right, cancel the interview.
I got
Let's move on.
the Alliance too, though.
All right. Well, okay. So now
I was Horde for a long time too. It's fine.
Now we want to. Sorry. Now we want to talk about your content. Let's start out with streaming. You stream often. How often do you stream, and what is a stream typically like?
Yeah, so I stream on like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday nights. Normally, so I'm like streaming all my raids, some solo things, like Tiger Boss, Raptor Boss farm, Fiery Warhorse farm, all that kind of stuff. I was doing a ton of beta, trying to find as many bugs as I could. And
did you report the bugs?
I did. I just got.
He did. He's one of the good ones.
I don't know if you saw the email, but Blizzard like sent out an email for people who like reported stuff on beta, like telling you how many reports you had, how many bugs were discovered based on your reports, whether or not like they were previously undiscovered until your reports, that kind of thing. And
nice.
They like rate you on like the green, blue, epic, legendary kind of scale. I ended up on epic, so I did pretty well.
You did your job.
Yeah, I got it done.
I feel like I didn't see that email, probably because I've sucked.
Yeah, I didn't see it either until until somebody else like told me it happened, because it just got thrown in my like promotional like ad kind of thing on Gmail. So yeah, you could check that out, see if you have one. It's kind of a cool thing to look at.
I feel like that motivates me to be more proactive in a beta.
Yeah, right? If you're getting rated
like,
for
oh, you're rating me?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, the goal, you gotta get that legendary
gamifying
rating.
Yeah. I like it.
So yeah, I was doing past couple of months. I've been doing like a ton of beta streams, just doing a little bit of everything, testing all the raids, and we still haven't had a raid test where everything works. So see what happens week 1 of Wrath Classic. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. I kind of just do raids, like solo bosses, try to do the raids with less tanks than they're designed for, that kind of stuff.
How did you get started streaming? What was the catalyst that like made you be like, I'm gonna try streaming?
So when I was like really hardcore into PvP, like towards the end of Wrath and like early Kata, I was streaming on Xfire. Like, I don't know if you guys even heard
I know
of that,
Xfire, yep.
Yeah, it started out as like a basically AOL instant messenger for gamers, and then they had like a streaming thing. And so I would like stream on Xfire. It was like, I don't know, 2010, 2011, around there, before Twitch, I believe. Or at least I didn't know about Twitch at the time. And so I started streaming on there, just like PvP and stuff. And I always kind of like that, because I just love playing the game, love sharing it with other people. So yeah, I got to start streaming on that. And then in Classic, I was like a guild leader the whole time, and I didn't want to like stream at the same time, because like that was enough of a headache on its own. And so then when I stepped down as guild leader, I started streaming, and I mean, did lots of 1 or 2 viewer streams, and then I started the YouTube channel where I like when I switched over to Prop Pally, when I was like trying to learn it, I couldn't find any of the stuff I was looking for. So then once I kind of learned what I was doing, then I started making the stuff that I had been looking for when I like made my Prop Pally. And So then once the YouTube started taking off, then a lot of those people came over to the stream. And so then the stream was doing a lot better. And then once you actually have some people watching you, like streaming becomes really, really fun.
It's
when did you start streaming though?
Well, no, you just talked about it. X, like back in the day on X. On
yeah,
so,
I know, but like, when did you start streaming, and like, when was the YouTube?
Yeah, so I started streaming. It would have been at the very end of Classic, like the last part of Nax, leading up to TBC, and then so that would have been, I guess, like February, something like that. 2020.
Yeah, 2019, 2020.
I'm
yeah.
losing track of the years now. And then the October following that is when I like kind of made the YouTube channel, and then things started to take off.
Nice.
So it was like, I don't know, 6 months or 7 months of, there's like 2 viewer streams, and then started getting a lot better after that.
So yeah, and that's like actually a very interesting thing about streaming on Twitch, because you talked about having the like nobody watching your streams, right? And then creating the YouTube channel and getting people in on stream. And that's something I think like Twitch, like if you just want to start streaming, Twitch is not the way to go. I don't know if YouTube is or not. I haven't tried that. I haven't done it. But what I'm telling you is that unless you have another outlet to like help people come to your Twitch, it's not going to happen. Like, you're not going to get suggested in any suggestions. You're not going to be at the top of that game stuff. Like, you only start to grow on Twitch once you already have an audience. And that's the crazy thing, is that it has happened to me. Like, I started out streaming to 5 people, like while I was doing hardcore, but then during that time, we changed the actual Warcraft Reloaded show to stream on my channel instead of Mash Those Buttons. And it started to grow slowly. And then now that we, talk about it, like at the start of the show, actually, I forgot to mention, we stream on twitch.tv/BlazeandBob at the start of the show. But now that we do that, my stream started to grow a ton, and then people rating you that you've had on the show, like it helps grow. Like, it's a whole weird thing, but you're not going to get big unless you like light your farts on fire and get banned, like the first time you stream. Like, you're not going to get big unless you have something else to promote your stream on Twitch, because Twitch is not going to help you at all.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to get your audience from somewhere else, or be like one of the most interesting people who's ever lived, and like any random person who comes across your stream is like an instant follower. Unless you're like one of the most interesting people ever, like you got to
those people.
I feel like Steel Wolf could have done it. I feel like Steel Wolf could have done it.
I feel like that's exhausting though, right? It's like you become this person, or you are this person, and then it's like you always have to be that person.
It is exhausting. It's actually like
I'm exhausted knowing what you're doing there.
It's the worst when you're in a bad mood and someone in chat says something that isn't even that bad, but you're in a bad fucking mood and you react poorly to it, like. And that shit's on the internet for life now, like.
Yeah, this is a constant.
Had a bad day, took it out on chat. They're gonna remember that.
Can I just talk about that with? I would love Bob to take his bad days out on chat, and then come and be cool with me, right? Like,
you really sell me as like a bad husband, Mel. Like, this is not fair.
You're your husband. I love you.
Wait, where did you get that hat?
It's my hat.
Is that new?
No. You think I went and bought a new hat for the podcast?
Dude, it actually, on the screen, it looks like a fake hat. like
It is a fake hat. Yeah.
subtle.
It's
Am
like
I
a
wrong?
green screen hat.
Does it not look like a
it does,
fake
like,
hat?
really pop. It pops like really hard.
It's probably because it's red.
It really looks like a digital hat.
It's not.
That's weird. All right, but yeah, so yeah, streaming is definitely weird. Do you enjoy streaming?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I look forward to it like all week, leading up to it for sure. It makes like I already love playing this game, but like streaming it and like actually having people in chat that you're talking to and stuff, it makes it like even better.
Yeah, it's actually like changed. Like I have so much fun for the most part, unless I'm having a bad day and I take it out on chat. But I have so much fun just talking to the people, and like you are the opposite of me. You are there and people come to learn from you and you give them good tips. Whereas my chat comes to inform me how dumb I am and how I can fix it later on. And you know what? Like both of them work, you know, like I get to learn a lot of new stuff, you know, but you get to teach people a lot of stuff. And so that's basically what your stream is. I've come into your stream many times and you answer questions really, really well while raiding. I can answer questions while doing.
We braided the other night, and you were like, "Hey, I'm going to send you a message." Is that?
No.
Oh,
That
was somebody else.
That was Nixium. We're trying real hard to get Nixium on the show.
Listen, I keep telling Bob, I'm like, "You're so cryptic. Like, just say, like, what are you doing?"
No, but when you raid
It's fine.
okay, no, but like we could talk about that here. When you raid somebody's chat, it is the most cringe thing to say, "Hey, will you come on my podcast, Warcraft Reloaded?" You're basically advertising your content in their chat. You have to wait for them to ask you to like post a link or to like, you just say, "Hey." That's why when I got on Nixium, I said, "Hey, I sent you a message. Please follow me back so I can send you the rest." Like, you don't want to jump in other people's chats and start pumping your own content. Like, that's not cool, right?
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't care too much, but I know a lot of people would for sure. It's definitely good manners for sure what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like the stream etiquette.
Yeah, so cryptic is okay. Like
it's fine.
I mean,
I felt like it was weird.
I felt like it was
weird.
I've gotten a lot of guests.
You get a lot of guests.
I know what I'm doing.
I know.
For the most part.
I've never gotten a guess. It's fine.
I mean, you did get Moon for the Cavalry podcast.
Yeah, my Overwatch podcast. Yeah, I got Moon before he was even like.
No,
it was like my first.
It was when he was huge. No, it was.
Oh yeah, he was huge. I just didn't know who he was, and I just sent him an email, and I was like, "Hey, you want to come on our podcast?" And then he was like, "Yeah, sure, that sounds good." And then so we were a smaller Overwatch podcast, right? And then we had Moon on, and I was like looking at the numbers, and it was just like 1,000.
That podcast,
right? Like, it was just like jumping up, and I was like, "What the hell is this guy?"
That feels good when like some of your content just like skyrockets out of the blue.
Right. Like, how do I do that again?
that Cavalry podcast got like week to week anywhere from 1,500 to like 4,000 downloads. I think by the end of that day, because Moon put the Lipson link on her
it was his title of his stream.
Yeah, and
oh wow, nice.
They went up to 40K downloads within that day.
Oh my God.
Like that pod
That's
probably
incredible.
over like before it got completely taken off of Lipson, probably ended at like 140,000 downloads.
It was
and
nutty.
Podcasts are not like YouTube. Like 140,000 for YouTube. Like in podcasts, like lingo, 140,000. Like say it was a YouTube vid, 140,000. Yeah, basically like a a 3 million YouTube video. It's basically like the 1-to-1 of it. It's nuts.
Jeez, yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. Okay, so okay, we got off topic there. Okay, so just real quick before we talk about your YouTube here to end it out, do you stream any other games?
Not really at the moment. Before, when I like didn't really have any viewers, I was doing a little bit of like Dota Underlords, some Warcraft 3, that kind of stuff. But at this point, I would definitely like to branch out into other games. I just don't know if like I have the viewership for that yet, but I would love to eventually. And like Ashes of Creation is one that I'm definitely interested in trying out down the line.
I think everybody is, and definitely the.
Wait, I don't even know what that is.
It's a upcoming MMO, and everybody is looking at the League of Legends MMO. Like everybody's watching that, but don't be scared. I did a Sea of Thieves stream the other day, and like now on top of it though, I do have to give a caveat. I did it with 2 other WoW Classic streamers, Duranosaur and Winky.
Love Duranosaur.
So like I did, and it was the first time Duranosaur had played Sea of Thieves, but I was averaging like 30 people. Like, wasn't bad. So I mean, maybe branch out here and there, just like, you know, not now during, you know, pre-patch and shit.
I was gonna say.
But there's too much content right now.
Yeah, but like,
I feel like the bigger you get too, the
more people watch you for you than watch you for.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like when you're smaller, people are watching you for you. When you're bigger, people are watching you for the content you bring.
Maybe.
And it's like riskier, right? But I've heard that from so many streamers. Even Moon Moon, like we just talked about Moon Moon in his interview that we did in like way early Overwatch. He was like, I'd love to be a variety streamer, right? And that's like everybody's dream. They're like, I don't want to be locked to this game. But the reality is that this game is what's getting you your viewers, and nobody in other scenes knows about you. So how do you cross over that?
Yeah, I guess
it's definitely a huge challenge.
I guess maybe my experience is different because nobody's coming to my stream to learn stuff. Like they're coming.
Yep. People come for you
to make fun of me or to, you know, teach me something because they're like, God damn it, Bob, you said this wrong on the podcast. I am going to educate you. You know, like.
I mean, they come for me, right? Like, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I mean, maybe. But I mean, do you have the expertise on any other game that you do on WoW?
Kind of. I've kind of always been able to get pretty good at like any game I've played. Like, got Legend in Hearthstone. Almost got Legend in Dota Underlords, or like their equivalent of Legend, but I kind of stopped playing.
Do you still play Hearthstone?
I haven't in a while. Last time I played was leading up to TBC, when there was kind of that dead time, like before TBC Classic launched.
Yeah, I feel like that's the last time I played too. I feel like Hearthstone died out for me. Like once they came out with all this other stuff, and I was like, man, I don't have time to like keep up with the meta. I just kind of died out.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, the troll patch killed it for me. I was a dad legend every pretty much every season.
Like, it was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, like rank 5 or higher, never rank 1, but like they call it a dad legend, rank 5. But then yeah, it was a really great game. Every 3 months I would spend $60 and I would get all of the cards that I needed, and I would disenchant every card 60. That was Yeah, because I only played ranked, so I would disenchant every card that wasn't allowed in ranked, and I was able to make every card with $60 every 3 months. And then the troll patch came out, and I wasn't able to do that, and like it kind of pissed me off. And I was like, "All right, dude, I gave you $60 every 3 months. I'm done now."
Yeah, it just got too expensive for me. Like, I love that game, but like just to be able to play it, it costs so much money, which is a huge bummer because I think it's a great game.
Yeah, it definitely can be.
Sorry.
My mic,
I'm trying to make sure Mel and I stay logged in on all of our characters.
Oh,
so.
no worries. Yeah, I'm on Gropulus. I totally get it.
All right, so
just running around aimlessly right now, staying logged in.
All right, so I want to talk about your YouTube content, and I want to like definitely look at how amazing your current content is, but I want to start at the beginning. Like you said, you started your YouTube, and that's when Twitch blew up. But what type of videos did you start, and what separated them from other type of content currently out?
So very first video I put out, it was like a Skolo farm, like how to farm. I think it was like at that point maybe 20 dark runes per hour kind of thing. On Prop Alley, I just made that video because like a bunch of my guildies were asking me like, how do you do this farm? So I was like, oh, just make a video instead of like trying to type out like a 3-page essay to every single person on like how to do it.
Yeah, you could just link them the video after that.
Yeah, so I just made a video on like how to farm dark runes in Skolo, and that thing just blew up. Like, it was my first video, and I think it ended up getting like 50K total views, but like in the like very quickly in like the first couple weeks I posted it, it got up to like 30 or 35K. And I was like, oh damn, okay, YouTube's way easier than I thought it was. And so then my goal after that was, you know, keep making more content, because I was like, okay, there's a way bigger like market for this than I thought there was. And so then I started making all the like videos that I was wanting to see when I was like trying to make my Prop Alley. And so I just kind of kept bumping out videos, showing like videos of, you know, boss kills, things like that from my point of view. And like even while I was like making my own videos, like, you know, a new patch would come up and I would like on YouTube try to search like Gurtog, Blood Boil, like Prop Alley POV, and like nothing would come up. So I kind of like reached this point where I was like, a lot of these videos are only going to exist if I make them. So then like I realized there was a like crazy unfilled niche there. So I just started making like trying to fill that niche as much as I could. And a lot of like getting really good at a class requires you to be in like the class Discord like every day, reading through like, I mean, a lot of the class Discords have like 50K plus people in there. So there's like a ridiculous amount of information. It's hard to follow like any conversations. You really gotta like parse through everything. And so things that I was like kind of taking for granted because I had like done like spent the time like reading through all that stuff, I realized like most people don't have time to do that. So I can kind of condense that a little more and, you know, give it to people in a much more digestible way.
Nice. I mean, that's kind of similar to why I started this pod. Like I felt like there wasn't like Countdown to Classic had stopped like completely throughout like most of vanilla. Like I didn't actually even hear about Countdown to Classic until I started the pod. Then I fell in love with it, of course. But like,
yeah, I love that show.
There was a Good Morning Azeroth every once in a while, like, you know, but like there just wasn't that weekly like discussion on what's going on in WoW Classic. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna make it, you know. And like that's like I think that's how to be the most successful in content creation, you just got to do something that you really want to hear, and you think a lot of people also want to hear it. And I mean, that's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's all about just like finding the niche that isn't filled yet, pretty much. And like I had been trying to do like streaming on my Rogue, like PvP streaming, stuff like that. But I mean, in TBC, that was like so oversaturated, like got zero momentum from that. And then I like happened to like I stopped PvPing on my Rogue because like my arena partners quit, and so then I went Prop Pally because I was only playing the Rogue for PvE, so I could get better gear for PvP. So when that didn't matter anymore, I went Prop Pally, and turned out there was a niche to fill there, and so I started doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like as of late, you've been making the most amazing videos. I need some on Warrior, please, but you've been making the Prot Pally solo boss killing vids, like all the bosses that are pertinent. Although you did Onyxia, that's not really pertinent. Like it's not really something.
Just for fun, yeah.
Yeah. You definitely told everybody, hey, probably don't do this. It took 45 minutes to get the kill. But
I think there is a faster way to do it. If you use like a Gordok Ogre suit, make your hitbox bigger, I think you can actually hit her with like your melee attacks and make it go way quicker. But
yeah, because it was phase 2 that was the issue for you.
Phase 2 is so long. Yeah, 1 and 3 are no problem. They're really fast, but yeah, phase 2 was rough.
Yeah, you talked about, you were like, well, I remember on my Rogue I could jump and hit, and I definitely know that is true. But it could just be like, have you figured out? You talked about maybe it's the female human hitbox that was your problem.
Blood Elf female, yeah. They have a really tiny hitbox, so I think it might have been that. But also throughout all of TBC Classic, you could actually just white attack Ani, like regardless of what your hitbox was. So she was like really bugged. I was actually, when I went in there, kind of surprised to find that she had been fixed, because I figured that wasn't really high on their priority list for Wrath Classic to fix Ani, like an old raid to begin with, but is also going to go away when like the new one comes out. But I guess maybe like they had gone back and fixed some of those bugs for when the new one comes out. So that comes out in a like TOGC patch for anybody who doesn't know.
It was probably them fixing it in the new one and it like just being active in the old one.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think maybe a Savory Delight or even a Winterfire Firewater might have fixed the problem?
Yeah, either of those might have worked too. I haven't been back in there since then, but if you do want to solo Ani as like a melee character, I would definitely bring in like Gordok Ogres to Winterfall Firewater, Elixir of Giant Growth, anything like that is going to increase your hitbox.
We actually early on.
What is the benefit of?
It just makes you bigger and makes your hitbox larger. Like
it allows you to hit things from further away than you normally would be able to.
I just mean, like, why would you want to solo Ani right now?
Oh,
it's just like a fun challenge. Like, I mean, like the most iconic raids in the game. Just kind of a cool thing to do.
Yeah. It like the hitbox change is a weird thing, because when BWL first came out in Classic, we were having all kinds of problems with the Fire Moss strat, and it turned out that our human female tanks hitbox wasn't big enough for the healers to actually be able to hit them. So we actually had to use Winterfall Firewater for us to get our first kill. So that they were actually large enough to where you could actually have proper line of sight in where you had to stand. So it's a little interesting on how all the hitbox stuff works.
We had to go kind of the opposite route. We had a Tauren Warrior tank, and he was having to use Deviates to decrease his hitbox. I can't remember exactly why.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so you've got like give us a list of all the solo vids you have out now.
Sure. Tiger Boss solo, Raptor Boss solo, Adaman solo and Karazhan, Moreau solo and Karazhan, Maiden of Virtue solo in Karazhan. Ani solo. I think that might be it right now. There's a lot that is soloable right now. Oh, the Gar
with
solo.
your Pally?
Yeah. The Gar solo. I actually was able to do that one really early in TBC. So, yeah, that was kind of cool. That was literally, I think it was over an hour to solo it, though. That was a rough one for sure. But it's much, much quicker now. And you can actually solo Geddon now as well. So you can actually solo the full Thunder Fury, which is awesome. And I haven't actually done the Geddon one yet, but one of the people in my Discord, they soloed it. They had like a great write-up in my Discord about how to solo it. Like there's certain parts in the cave where it like leading to Geddon where there's like a low roof, so when you get knocked in the air with the living bomb, you actually don't take fall damage. So just like that's what I love about soloing bosses is like coming up with all these like crazy unique strats to do it.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, well, anything else you would like to like add on to anything like Twitch, YouTube, whatever?
So SubtleFW on Twitch, SubtleFW on YouTube. I've been making like pretty much exclusively prop alley content. I am learning Prot Warrior now though, so once I get to a point where I feel like I know enough to start like teaching other people how to play Prot Warrior, then I'll probably start doing some Prot Warrior content. I am going to be getting back into Rogue. I mean, Simon Eyes kind of already has that on lock, but maybe I'll be doing like some PvP videos, stuff like that, because I love Shadow Dance Rogue. It is like the best time. So yeah, Rogue, I'll probably just focus on PvP stuff, but yeah, definitely look out for like some Prot Warrior stuff coming, way more Prop Alley stuff coming, and yeah, super excited for Wrath.
Nice. All right. Last question before we end the show. How do you stay so buff sitting at the computer all day?
I try to go, so I do like a 3 days on, 1 to 2 days off kind of routine. And yeah, so I try to just stick to that, go to the gym every morning that I'm not having a rest day, and just make sure I eat a lot before I stream and
hydrate a lot.
Gives me the energy to like carry through like a 10-hour stream. People are always like, how do you like never eat like during stream and stuff? And yeah, I just try to eat like a ridiculous amount. Like I'm not purposely like doing intermittent fasting, but it kind of ends up being that, like just based on like the stream times and stuff.
That's actually what I do, intermittent fast. Like I don't eat during the stream at all too. And it's intermittent fasting that's allowing that. I'm starving by the time stream's done, but yeah, same. I'm not as buff as you though.
Yeah.
But I'm not as young as you though either.
How old are you, if you don't mind saying?
If you
don't want to say it's not a big deal. You look like you're about like, I don't know, 32. You look
God.
Yep. Just add 10 years to that. You've got me.
I am much younger than Bob, just so you know.
Yeah.
I don't look it. Bob looks younger than me, but I am like 7 years younger than Bob.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're all WoW boomers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I graduated high school in 2004.
Yeah, I was playing. I graduated college when I was playing the original vanilla. So.
Okay. Yeah, I was
in college.
Yeah, at the very end of vanilla, I was like a freshman in high school or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, wait.
It's been a long time.
You were in college during vanilla?
I said I had graduated college.
Okay.
When I was playing vanilla. I had already lived a year in LA, and yeah, I'd done a lot of stuff like before vanilla even came out. I started like when I was a teen, I started MMOs in Ultima online, and so
I'm 36,
definitely an old guy.
And you can project how old Bob is from that.
All right. Well, now that we've, I mean, I guess I've mentioned it on the show.
I mean,
here and
I
there
outed
before.
myself. Okay. I'm old.
All right. Well, guys, we are going to end out the show. I want to remind you, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded. You can follow the Mash Those Buttons Network at the Mash Network. We want your WoW stories. We love them. Send them to wcrpodcast@gmail.com. If you would like to join our Discord, you can join it and interact with us or any host on any Mash Those Buttons podcast. That's mash.gg/Discord. How can you help us out? Well, we've been dry on iTunes reviews for a bit now. You can also go to bonusroll.gg and leave us a review. That it used to be warcraftradio.com, but now it's bonusroll.gg. They're branching out, so they're changing up a little bit. You can tell the best way is you can tell your guild in your guild Discord about the show, and you can just help spread the word there. That's 25 to 50 people that could become potential fans, and you could talk about the dumb stuff or the cool stuff that we say every week with your guild. It could be a fun time. Tell them about us, and just spread the word. That's the best way to help. Lastly, you can support us on Patreon at Warcraft Reloaded. Just search Patreon and Warcraft Reloaded. You should find us pretty easy. And that's the best way to help us out. Now, Subtle, I know you just kind of said it before, but please highlight anywhere people can find you.
Yeah, just Twitch and YouTube, SubtleFW on both. If you'd like to check me out, streaming Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday nights, Pacific time. Usually start around like 6:30, 7-ish. And it would be great to have more people in the stream. That's what makes it fun.
And for anybody who is a smooth brain like me, the way you spell subtle is SUBTLE. Just let you guys know, it doesn't sound like it's spelled. So definitely check them out.
That is one of the interesting things about coming back to Classic now that everybody's older. Everybody actually pronounces it correctly now. Back in vanilla, everybody called it subtle. Yeah.
Subtle.
It's kind of funny, like seeing how everybody's grown up and actually like knows how to pronounce words now.
They're like, that's great. Subtle. Yeah. Okay.
All right, Mel with the fake hat. How can we find you?
Yeah, I don't have a fake hat. I have a real Chiefs hat, by the way.
Jeez.
And we play tomorrow. It'll be great. We're gonna win. And you cannot find me on Twitter, so please don't go there because I have proven that I cannot answer messages. But you can find me in the game, or you can find me on Patreon. I'm very active on that.
All right. And you can find me on Twitter at Blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. You can find me streaming regularly on twitch.tv/BlazinBob. All right, guys, let's get out of here.
Thanks for having me on. That was great.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for checking out Warcraft Reloaded podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any future content.